Okay. I will go with the highlighted agenda this time. I won't be misreading. That's why I talked to Hannah today about something on one of the agendas, the minutes. And I realized I was reading from the January 8th minutes instead of the 22nd. So, oops,
I
sorry.
got real confused.
Yeah. All right, thanks. So I guess 7 o'clock or thereabouts, close enough, and we will start the meeting. And all the people are staying off. You know, I'm just looking for a quorum.
Here we go. There's a couple people in the waiting room.
Yeah, I
now.
want to make sure.
And Pam's in there now.
Good, okay. Well, between Pam and Don and everybody here, we got plenty. Steve did confirm he's not gonna be able to make the meeting. He might be able to zoom in late, but he's not counting on that, so we should proceed without him for that.
Does he have a note?
He does. It's called a very important work presentation tomorrow.
Ah,
And he's got to work long hours tonight. Excuse for that. You can give up on that. Yeah, they want to work his parents.
flimsy.
Yeah. So welcome to those of you in the room and those of you online to the January 22nd Conservation Commission meeting being held virtually on Zoom for certain members who will identify in a moment, as well as on site at the Municipal Center in Bellingham. We have 2 members of the board who are for various reasons online, out of town or ill, and they are Pamela Francis and Don Joel. Don, pronounce your last name for me, please.
Oh, Coelho.
Well, I think I've ever said other thing.
That's
Don,
okay.
other than Don, so thanks,
That's
Don. And one member is absent tonight, and that is Steve, who is the obligation. And so we will proceed and we will do roll call votes for any business that comes up. First item on the agenda is a continuation request. This is a project location off Lake Street, Prospect Hill Village. The construction of a 156 unit townhouse development, which will impact bordering vegetated wetland, bank, land under water bodies and waterways, bordering land subject to flooding and riverfront area. Louis Petrozzi is the applicant, Representative Paul McManus from Ecotech. After exchanging some late day communications, we have been asked to continue this to February 12th so that additional information can be gathered and presented both by BSC, our peer reviewer, and to us. And I think there's something coming from them too. Yeah, yes.
Just some miscommunication
Right.
between stuff.
So to clarify things and make sure we move forward smoothly, we're doing that. That's also a good chance for us to make sure we have all members attending, so we don't have to deal with the Mullen rule down the road for a longer term project like this, since Steve was not going to be able to participate. So that's a good thing all around. So I'll take a motion to continue. Oh, one point on this. I'll wait for get a motion in a second. Motion or a second?
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Ariane, thank you. Okay, one thing I would like to have the commission members think about, I'm not going to discuss it because the applicant's not here, so it's not appropriate to do so, but the way we've been proceeding with this project in the past few hearing meetings that we've had, I want the commission members to think about how we've been doing that and allowing the applicant to bring to us requests for clarification of ideas he has or plans he wants to us consider, as opposed to a complete project presented, which we then would review and give feedback to, as has been the case for many years. And I just want to, we would discuss it at the next meeting when the applicant's here and bring that up at his point. I was gonna do it tonight if he was here, but let's see what the commission, I want to see what the commission feels about this. I've got my own thoughts on it, but we're not gonna discuss it tonight. So I just would like all the members present and online to just to be thinking about that for the 12th meeting. Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Excuse me. Ariane.
Aye.
Neil. Aye. James.
Aye.
Don.
Aye.
And Pam.
Aye.
All right, and Mike, aye. So unanimous vote. Thank you. Let's continue to the 12th. All right, next item on the agenda is 24 Hampton Court, new hearing, an RDA request for a removal of trees within the 100-foot buffer zone. I'm not going to mispronounce your name. Are you in the room here? If you'd like to come up and identify yourself, applicants, that will save me mangling your name, because I'm sure I would. Just identify yourself, if you would, please.
Yeah, my name is Srikanth Ramadi. She is my wife, Hema, and we live in the 24 Hampton Court, Bellingham. We moved 3 years back to the Bellingham. So we have some trees, some dead trees are in the buffer zone, and also some live trees are there. But live trees are leaning towards the house, and they are grown like 15 to 20 degrees angle to the. So we are afraid that sometime with the wind and other things, like it may fall on the property. So we are requesting to give permission to cut those trees, and we identified the trees and then gave it to Hannah, the photographs.
Right, she provided that information on the portal, which we share to
Yeah,
get
yeah.
that. So we saw the picture, we have the old pictures. We also saw a report from a tree company who's
Yeah.
recommending that certain of the trees are dead and certain of the ones that are live are leaning and could pose a risk. I think they also mentioned that the soils were not particularly good for some of those big trees like the
Yeah,
elm trees to be growing, which that happens in a lot of places, that the soil may or may not be a problem down the road, but certainly some of the dead trees and the live ones that are leaning may be a concern for your both house and protection of people in the background. The one thing I did know was this is, and the way it was phrased in the on the project description was a little bit different than in the application form, that the property line extends well beyond where those trees are for your property.
Yes.
So this is a little different than where we've dealt with some situations where the conservation property resource area outside the person's property, but right near the borderline usually has this kind of an impact. And so we're dealing with just conservation property access, not your property access. And there's a bit of a drop off, I think, in the pictures to the trees, or is it the same level ground from where the trees are right along the fence line there?
yeah,
And
right along the fence.
yeah, does it stay flat where the
Flat.
trees are? So
Yeah.
it's not, doesn't drop
No,
off?
no,
Okay.
there's no drop.
Some of the shots were so much vegetation from the summertime, they all look healthy. And I was trying to see which ones are which. And this time of the year, unfortunately, to go out there, they all look dead because.
Yeah.
But you did have a report from them, and we just received today, the arborist report.
The arborist report was in there. Amy actually put it in earlier this week, but
Oh, earlier this week,
that's,
okay.
that's in there.
So there's an arborist report too.
Yep.
I didn't see
I think
that at
it's
the
the
time, I was looking through it, but so,
Is that 2-sentence letter from the 13th?
Yes, I believe so.
can we read both sentences? Because
It's just saying upon reviewing trees at this address, we believe they're at risk of falling.
we're not specifically dead ones
They
versus
said-
living ones or whatever.
Well, they believe some are dead or dying and pose a high risk of failing. Some live elm, they brought up the elm trees.
And I think if I looked at the plan and saw the circled number of trees, I was trying to count a couple of close together,
Yeah.
about 14 total.
Yeah, 14 to, yeah.
As identified on the plan, yeah.
Some are very small.
Right, yes, I did see that, the pictures, when I saw that, the
Yeah.
paint spray on them was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But that helped quickly help us be able to see what the trees are, so I think you provided good information. Open up to the commission members, do you have questions for the applicant? James? Jennifer, Ariel?
Do we know what species the trees are?
At least some are elm, but I don't know.
They didn't
This-
go into specifics with the.
Other than the elm trees, which were identified by the tree company, did they talk about where the other ones were at all to you? Anybody mention what kind they were?
No.
Okay, some of them looked so dead, I don't know what they could have been. They were not too big.
Yeah, they are dead, and then there are live vines are going up, and they're
Right.
making heavy on those dead trees, and then.
Yeah, most of the dead ones look fairly straight, so it looked like less of a risk point, but if they're 35 feet tall and dead, and you did show how close they were to the house,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yeah, they're
25.
covered in invasive vines.
Right, yeah, which is good. The one thing that, well, let me ask Don and Pam, do either of you have questions?
No, I don't have any.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't have any either. It seemed pretty straightforward.
yeah,
My only concerns would be, accessing equipment
mhm.
in the sense of, how are they gonna be taken down and removed and the processes for taking them down.
And I want to make sure that
And removed.
the tree company's proposal didn't specify that, it said all limbs and everything would be removed, but we want to make it clear that we would prefer that they not do any stumping and grinding.
No.
So they would cut them off, 2 foot out,
Yeah.
whatever, and leave all the roots and everything, because that'll help hold the soil and keep, it's also less disruptive
Yes,
than
yes,
certainly
yeah.
doing that. And given the condition of the fence in some spots, let's knock sections down, so forth, that's up to you, it's on your property.
He said verbally that he is going to access through the lawn, from the lawn side, he's not going
Right.
into the.
And that would be our preferred thing, is stay on an area that's already
Yeah.
easy to maintain. And this time of the year, they do when the ground's frozen, there won't probably be any much negative impact. Although a good tree company will still,
The fence does need to be maintained.
That was,
the markers on the fence.
The fence and the
that's-
markers need to
right,
be
yeah,
maintained.
Right, I saw some palisades were down and yet some of the other. Is it two different kinds of fences there?
No, only one fence. is-
No, I thought, well, one.
Just one split rail fence.
One
but
split rail
there's
fence, and then there's some palisade fences, which were around the corner of the house towards the driveway that seemed to be down in pieces and so forth. But the fence should be maintained because that shows
Yeah, yes.
anybody, you know it,
Yeah,
you bought the house and you've seen the markers, but
No, it has to be maintained,
No.
not should be, it must be.
it must be.
Yeah, actually
Must
the
be.
fence is going down. Maybe in the future, we want to put the, actual fence, like, no,
Right.
it's.
When you do that, if you want to get more of the free stickers to put along the fence line, because you have to take some out and they couldn't come off or they break. We have free to see
Yeah,
here.
do we need to take another permission to put the fence or, we can?
If you're putting up a new structure of anything, even replacing a fence, yeah, you should come to the Conservation Commission because it's within
Okay,
the buffer zone.
Yeah, and having that fence and the badges there is part of the original permitting for the
Yes,
house, and
yes.
that has to be maintained forever.
yeah.
Right, so if you put the fence up, we're saying it's going in the same spot, still come back to us. It'll be a fairly straightforward thing, I think. I can't promise anything because I'm not
They own it,
voting
but
it.
it is
Yeah,
conservation.
Yeah, so it's a combination. If it was closer to the edge of your property, we would still want to maintain anything that has that 25-foot no disturb beyond it. Is important for us to, and it must be maintained by future property owners too. So just come and see us when you replace the fence
Yeah,
in the same area. We wouldn't want the fence to go back further ideally, because we want to keep it at least 25, but you probably don't want to maintain more grass
no,
anyway.
no.
Okay.
No, that's where the fence has to be.
Yeah.
It has to stay in that position.
Yeah.
It could come closer to the house, but it can't go further away.
Yes.
Okay. So we're having added that to the
So just to confirm for conditions, we're not including the split rail fence in any conditions for this, or?
well, I think we just,
I think-
it doesn't hurt to confirm at this point in time that the split rail fence and badges must be
But be
maintained.
maintained.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
maybe.
And then
If
if
they're,
you want the
if
back
they're
foot
removed to
fence
allow
in,
access,
that's
they
part
have
of
to be put
maintaining
back
it.
together.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think,
fine.
the fence is going down. I don't think it will stay in next 2-3 years.
Right, so whenever you plan to do that, just come back to us and through Anna and we'll,
Yes. New badges.
Anywhere.
so yeah, we'll mention that in the order of conditions too, that better safe than sorry, just that any replacement of fence would need to come back to Conservation Commission for approval and review, but that's good. So I will accept if there are no more comments or comments for this, which is good, good input. I will accept a motion for a negative determination of, negative RDA with conditions as noted, and I will look for motion and a second on that.
So moved.
All right.
Seconded.
Oh, sorry, a little slow there, James. James beat you to it, Don. That's okay. I know you're pushing it. Maybe next time. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll vote. Marianne,
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
or Don. Pam?
Sorry, aye.
Neil? James?
I,
Oh my God, unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay, so what that means, the negative is good in this case. That means you don't have to go through a permitting process
Okay.
anymore.
Okay,
You're done.
Thank you.
So-
Yeah, this is one of the few times negative is good.
Okay.
So Hannah will get you,
Huh?
Permission letter.
the information, you can.
I still have a bunch from the other one that I'm working on, so it may take the 21 days, but.
No, it's okay. It's anyway, ground is, snow is there maybe after melting the snow. Thank you very much.
You'll have it within 21 days. So
Yeah.
Legal timeline, so within 21 days, you'll have it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
For coming in, appreciate it, stay warm. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a continued hearing for a notice of intent for 0 Maple Street, a proposed 19,525 square foot industrial style building with parking areas, 3 proprietary treatment devices and 2 subsurface infiltration systems. With Rich Gordon from Maple Street Development as the applicant and Shane Oates from Independence Engineering as the representative. We have been notified by the applicant's representative, I believe, rather than the applicant themselves, but is that right? Okay.
Yep.
That they are requesting a continuation to February 12th at the request of the representative because they're still doing planning board issues, and that's fine if they're still working on it. So I will accept a motion to continue this hearing to the night of February 12th.
So moved.
Sam, thanks. Don, come on, Don.
Seconded.
All right, good, thanks, Don. All right, any other comments, questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we have any confidence at all? We've been continuing this thing and continuing this thing and continuing this thing. Do we have any confidence whatsoever that this will be, that they will be ready to go on February 12th?
Yes,
Will that change tomorrow night?
no, well,
Oh,
I can't,
What about?
I mean, I can't really all I will say, so they're on the agenda for tomorrow evening's planning board meeting where there will be presenting their final revised plans, essentially, so.
If you find them all satisfactory, then they listened to everything that's been said and inputted.
If you were a betting man,
We're in a public hearing.
What you got?
It's-
Two Super Bowl tickets on the line.
you might throw a couple of quid at it, yeah.
I feel very confident that,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, so, having heard
all
that
right.
lukewarm reassurance from the planning board member. Planning board. Lukewarm. Okay, I will, was there any other comments and questions? Okay, I will accept the motion to continue.
No, you already did.
And, oh, sorry.
You just
Check
have to
vote,
call the
vote,
vote.
vote. Ariane, aye. James,
Aye.
Neil,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Unanimous vote. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Next item on the agenda is also continuation for 123 Mendon Street. A continuing hearing for a notice of intent for commercial redevelopment within the riverfront and 100-foot buffer zone to BVW. PC Pavone Enterprises is the applicant and William Halsing from Land Planning is the representative. They have requested a continuation of February 26th hearing as they need some.
They're still back and forth with oh wait, yeah, with the planning board. Yeah, they're getting peer review from planning.
So we did have some members walk that site and the recent past and it's, I think it's pretty straightforward. The area that's going to be worked in is already disturbed. They want to put a little retaining wall up to help keep anything from the slope where the edge of the parking area is from going down anything closer to the gas. They have a gas line between them and the resource area, which is a stream. So. One
So moved.
Yeah, yes, okay. All right, so I'll accept the motion to continue. Thank you, Ariane. Second. James, any other questions, comments? Okay, Don,
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
Ariane,
Aye.
Neil,
Aye.
James.
Aye.
Mike, aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Next time on the agenda is continued hearing for an ANRAD for 180 Payne Street, Rentham Road, Bound Road, 585 Rentham Road. Confirming the demarcated boundaries of bordering vegetated wetlands, BVW, isolated vegetated wetlands, IVW, banked intermittent streams and bank mean high water, MAHW, to Bungie Brook. NECC Holdings LLC is the applicant and the representative is a very smart guy, Brian Madden, and he doesn't mind being called. And from LEC Environmental Consultants, and they have requested a continuation to February 12th hearing. We are looking for a BSC peer review
And we also just
proposal,
got DEP comments, so they're gonna work those into that as
Right.
well.
which were thrown into the portal. So we have DEP comments, which include quite a few things actually.
Is this separate from the work that they saw?
Violation. Yes, this is to confirming the demarcated boundaries. So we don't have a actual.
That's gonna be submitted sometime this week as an NOI to go on the agenda for the 12th. They're totally separate applicants, so we're gonna keep them separate.
Yeah. The other one's probably, the other applicant's probably the current property owner. You know, that probably sold it. Oh. Okay, so I will accept the motion to continue this to the evening of February 12th. So moved. Neil, second,
Second.
Ariane, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Not hearing and seeing none. Ariane,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Neil,
All right.
James,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Pam.
Aye.
All right, you know, go. Thank you very much. Okay, proceeding to the next item on the agenda is a continued hearing for a notice of intent for Silver Lake Dam improvements to the Silver Lake Dam. Alteration of bank, be dedicated. Land under water bodies, waterway and waterways bordering land subject to flooding, riverfront, and 100-foot buffer zone to BVW. Town of Bellingham's the applicant. And Gregory LaCroix from Pear Corporation is the representative. Excuse me, corporation. Yeah, I believe one of our members has a statement to make
I recuse myself from this hearing.
as you are an employee of Pear Corporation. Okay, thank you. So she may participate in the conversation, but just not. Okay, and you are
I'm Greg LaCroix from PAR Corporation.
welcome.
I'm joined by Mark McCluskey from PAR as well online and Jesse Rydell from the
Hello.
town's DPW.
Howdy, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
So, yeah, at the last meeting, we presented the project. At that time, there was no major concerns from the commission. So we continued as we did not have a DEP file number. Since that time, we have received a file number 105-0977. They issued 9 comments for which we responded in writing yesterday. We understand that's short notice for the commission, but just wanted to be here to discuss any of those comments that you wanted to talk over, or I also have our response letter here if you want to work through them one by one.
Usually with that short notice, we would defer to the commission to say whether they felt comfortable doing any kind of discussion or whether they really want to look it over, because that can't get too much light at the last minute. And I'm not faulting you for that per se. The DEP also was slow on, or not slow, but at their own measured pace and gave us a number which would have.
No, they're slow, Mike.
Their own measured pace, I like that.
I used to say they
Wow.
have glacial haste as the government is often.
Wow.
To be honest.
I'll leave it to the commission members. If you want to discuss this some, we have a bit of time. If you don't want to discuss it and want to review the information, that's also perfectly acceptable to me. When you want to just start low.
Yeah, the goal, I think, low water ends, and Mark, correct me if I'm wrong, but Memorial Day is generally the date we're shooting for.
The start.
Correct, to have the project
Finish.
complete?
To be complete.
Yeah, complete by April 15th is the desired, and no later than, no later than Memorial Day.
Yeah, I think April 15th, that key date for the bats. So that's that date we can't clear any trees greater than 3-inch diameter. But Memorial Day is when the low water ends, that period ends.
Right, and you're not stretching the project out to be done by April with the tree clearing and then hold off till low water necessarily. You want to just continue to proceed.
Yeah.
So what is the total time frame for low water, and according to that, the DEP setting standard?
I think it begins on Labor Day generally and
It
extends.
does.
All day, yeah.
Yeah, the low reservoir period extends from Labor Day to Memorial Day with a minimum 1-foot drawdown.
So based on that and contractors who are going to actually do the work, who you have to get out, I assume, and go through a process. What is your time frame able to get approval? I mean, putting this off for another 2 weeks to the next hearing, next meeting to give the commission members time to review this, as well as, are we going to, did we decide anything about BSC needing to be involved in this, or did we say that we didn't? I don't think it came up at the last meeting.
I mean, to be honest, Mike, I read through all the DEP's comments and their responses just now, and
Mhm.
I have very minor concerns that I think can be resolved now. I don't know if it needs to be.
I haven't had a chance to look at anything
Okay.
yet, so.
Yeah, I skimmed it, but I didn't get a chance to read through it yet.
Same here.
Well, if it's the straw poll here, if the commission wants to put this on the agenda for the next meeting, I think we're okay. Getting a thoughtful response from us would probably be more fruitful. And I think are we saying that we don't think we need to request any BSC peer review? Given the size of it and the limited area and this pretty straightforward nature of most of the stuff out here, I think. The demarcation of wetlands lines and so forth.
I don't think we want to exacerbate the issue.
Right.
No, I think we'd be good with just the DEP.
Yeah.
Comments.
DEP was very specific, so.
Let me just ask Jesse, are you comfortable with how things look on the DEP and the applicant's information that you've received?
Yes, I feel comfortable on it. Of course, we want time for everybody to review, but from what I've seen, it looks acceptable.
Okay, good, that's good, get your input on that, thanks. All right, so I will, based on that input, and thank you for being here, Gregory. I think that we best off defer to the next meeting, which will be.
February 12th.
Well, I know that, but I mean, do we have it too, we were pushing a number of other things off. I don't want to commit to that and not have.
I mean, we do have, it's gonna be a significant agenda.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes, and I'll get you, 1 second, thank okay,
He'll get.
Because we pushed off, Prospect Street, we're pushing off 123 Mendon, 180P, and we have a new submission from an NOI for construction of a house that I just got today. We're gonna have, there's another RDA. There's gonna be one more NOI that's in response to an CC violation. So it's definitely gonna
the
be.
Jeopardy timers were click, 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 clicks, and then bing for the final round.
I think this one is gonna go quick.
Yeah, I think, given the scope and the thoroughness of the DP responses and your responses to their comments, rather, that we probably, members see something else when they
Yeah,
review.
unfortunately, I'm just not comfortable.
I don't blame you, but short notice like this, we have every right to defer it. I just want to make sure commission is on board with this. Okay, I'll accept a motion to continue this hearing to the evening of, very tight evening of, February 12th, 7 p.m. Where we land on the agenda eventually in that, or the schedule.
So moved.
Thank you, Pam. Second. Neil, thank you. All right, Ariane.
Recuse.
Thank you for making a note of that. Recuse, I know that on the last hearing, you didn't actually say you were recused, just said you hadn't had a yes vote or a no vote.
Do we want to speak to the?
Yes, I'm sorry. I paused the voting. Yes, could you?
My name is Rita McCarthy on Lakeview Ave. We actually have a little bit of rights into Silver Lake, and we were just wondering what this project is about. Are you lowering the water?
Nope.
No?
There'll be no changes to water surface elevation. We're simply just doing some maintenance work on the dam just to make sure that it stays structurally sound.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Same thing, Lakeview Avenue, not knowing about this, do any of the abutters on Silver Lake know anything about what's going on to where they might be able to put in some input and try to get some more questions answered about Silver Lake as far as the type of water Silver Lake is? Is it an actual spring? Is it a aquifer? Is it a reservoir? Is it water that needs to be protected? Do we have any of those answers? So therefore, and the next answer would be talking about the floodplains and the water levels coming up. If we're working on the dam, are we taking in the future, knowing that if the water level is rising, are we gonna make the dam higher and accessible to where we can move the water in the lake, let it go down so people can clean around their property on the lake, and then conserve the water and let it go high in the drought times of the year, work with the water and stuff, because if we were all involved, we could all have a little input on that and make it a little bit more accessible for everybody to have that knowledge,
So
especially on the lake.
so just the first question, of all butters within 100 feet of the property are notified per DEP regulations.
Let me just check. Are you within 100 feet of the dam?
Yes,
Oh, not of the dam,
no,
no.
not the dam, of the
Well, the
lake.
dam and the area that's gonna be worked on is up lake from the dam, a slight bit on that side of, I guess it would be the south side.
Yeah.
What was the notification zone of the abutters to the dam proper, the Silver Lake property?
I don't think so. I think this is the area the project is being worked on. What did you notify for them?
So the way we notified, the maintenance easement falls within the two parcels, 10 Dupree Road and 80 Cross Street. So the way we did it is I just expanded it to the entirety of both of those parcels, notified all abutters within 100 feet of those parcels, and then also notified the property owners as well, even though we did get Ed Falkenstrom's signature on the project.
Yes, sir.
And talking about the lake, not just with the dam and such, but regulating the water. If everybody had a chance to be able to clean the lakefront and clean the weeds and the brush and everything from the lakes, that would affect the height of the water as well. So with all that being in participant of all this happening, that should be in consideration of the water level of the lake itself, maintaining it and lowering it and hiring it a constant level kind of scenario throughout the year,
Well,
monitoring all that.
what we're discussing in the proposal that they're doing is just some, maintenance and repairs on the dam itself. We're not addressing the lake as a whole or any issues surrounding cleaning the lake or the water level of the lake. It's just to maintain and repair the dam so that it doesn't
Okay, well,
fail.
for just so we're like, maybe we could put an extra board in to make the water come up higher. You know, just by talking to everybody about that, if you're there, I mean, is it possible to do just one little step extra to help us raise the level in the water of the lake, to bring it up higher?
Or just for a temporary period of time?
It would have to depend on all the neighbors on the lake, what they would all think about it.
I
Would they
think
want the lake higher or lower?
the scope of this project isn't to provide any additional reservoir or changing of the levels of the water.
It's just to maintain it.
It's just to fix the dam, which is potentially
Mhm.
gonna have some issues if it doesn't do that. However, if you as a butter to a resource area, like the lake is, and the areas around it, and property owner right abutting it, we're not unfamiliar with Silver Lake's eutrophication, the growth it growing in, how it's shrunk over the years. We've seen visuals provided by companies that works around the lake and provide that. I'm not sure of the best forum to bring that, whether it's to come to the commission, who do own Silver Lake. It actually is owned by the Conservation Commission, maintained by the DPW. But periodically, as you know, they do weed control in Silver Lake, along with Lake Hiawatha. We have a company that is contracted out over the years and it's come in to provide treatments and so forth for that. If as part of I don't know, I'm looking for input from the commission here. What do you think the best way for concerned applicants about a resource area that maybe looking at longer term things, how can it be controlled to help prevent weeds from invasive, weeds from coming in? Can raising and lowering of the water be done on some sort of cycle, on a limited basis, not draining it down, obviously?
Yeah, to where even if they're there, I mean, if it would only take putting in 2 little I-beams on each side, so we could put an additional board on the lake to raise it up a little bit when it's in drought of the summer, it might help to maintain the lake level later in the year. But
So I
again,
can
if
answer
you're
that.
there, it would make things simple versus going through all that. That's all I was kind of bringing up, but thank you for your time.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the reservoir level is established by permitted annual drawdown and the normal operation and maintenance of Silver Lake Dam. The elevation established was set, and that allows for a 1-foot freeboard for the design event, the rain event. So that's already established. That has to stay. Then with the annual drawdown that's permitted and allowed, that's a 1-foot lowering. I believe that's taken out 2 boards from each spillway bay, 2 6-inch boards, but that's permitted through the Conservation Commission as well as following Chapter 253 in the Office of Dam Safety. It's not something that the town of Bellingham, Conservation Commission, or the DPW can alter without getting an extensive permission from those departments, the Office of Dam Safety.
Thank you. That's helpful.
Is that a state agency that
Yes.
does that?
Yes.
So basically, if I'm hearing this right, summarize it, the state is controlling how much the water can come up and down. The town, Conservation Commission, and the DPW have to abide by that. We can't say, oh, let's take
Correct.
boards or something like that.
Correct.
The drawdown period that's permitted, is that during the time that we have I don't know if you even know this, so if you don't, that's fine. That we have the weed control done?
I am not familiar with that, no.
Well, we do the weed control during the summer.
Yeah, I thought it was early summer. Yeah, early summer. I just couldn't remember the time.
No, it's after Memorial Day.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I don't know when the drawdown event was.
It's Memorial Day.
Memorial, okay.
No, Labor Day. It goes up on Memorial Day and down on Labor Day.
Okay.
So we keep the level up in the summer to facilitate using the beach and all that.
Right.
Correct.
Right, okay. So, as far as getting back to your original, how can the property owners around the lake who are affected by this lake situation as has been evolving over the decades, not just right away, deal with this? or address this and maybe get some feedback to the people involved in maintaining, which are the Conservation Commission, the DPW. I think, if you provide some information to Hannah or reach out to her, so she has your contact information, both of you, if you'd like to do that separately or together. Or, and then maybe we can brainstorm about it among the commission members to find an effective way to do it. I don't want you to come in, you're not applying for a notice of intent to do something, you're not looking for an handwrite, something, you're not in a normal situation with an applicant who wants to do a project. You have general concerns, but they do relate to the resource area, so they're very valid to come to us initially about them. And I just want to find the best way to address them. And since we don't have a lot of experience with people from the community coming to us with this kind of an issue and concern, I'd like to make sure that we respond properly. So, you know, whatever is decided on is a good use of your time, our time, maybe ends up in some good results. So if you provide the information to Hannah, you know how to reach her. And if you go to the Conservation Commission website on the town, you have access to that. Yeah, okay. Sorry, you're comfortable with
Yeah,
that?
I'm fine with it.
Okay, so we will.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it's putting all the heads together and,
Yeah, yeah.
and taking benefit of if he's over there working, and if it's possible to do this and do that while he's there, you know, it'd be go a lot easier, but yes, there's rules and regulations are going
Well,
about
plus,
it.
but the
and-
scope of their project and their expertise is really focused on the repair of the dam, not so much changing, if we could even, the abilities to adjust the water. And we may have all that capacity already built into the dam as it is right now, without having to do anything. They just haven't been able to do it because of the regulations of the state. So you haven't seen it up or down because you think maybe we could need some boards, but it might just be, the boards are there, but we can't take them out because the state has
Right,
told us.
I can understand that
Now,
without,
I'm better
but
understand
to
too.
get like everybody together and all that, yes, that's a whole other scenario. I don't want to waste any time.
No, no.
But can you answer me the question about the water quality on Silver Lake? Is that actually a spring or is that actually a reservoir? Or is that running, is it a flowing stream that's?
That I can
a-
answer.
A live,
It's-
a live lake?
We have some.
It's stream fed.
Yeah, it's Petersburg flows into and out of it.
Yeah. It's fed from the north and feeds out from the south.
Whether there's subterranean springs also coming up into the lake, we don't know, I don't think necessarily, but Petersburg is the,
And if you'd
Main
like
beat.
to take a like in-depth look at the plans and what they've submitted, if you go to the Bellingham town website and you look at the current Bellingham filings, we have the NOI that they submitted as well as the plans up there that you can get, like you guys can look at as well.
and NOI stands for notice of intent, so this is what they plan to do with their project. It's limited in scope, it's very focused on just the repairs, but there's other information like maps, as Hannah said, and so forth.
Okay, and on that same map, under the permits, they have your floodplain on that. So with that floodplain coming in around all of Silver Lake and going up on the back side, we're all surrounded with a floodplain. So that level is probably corresponding to the national insurance floodplain. That's all related to that.
Yeah, so where we pulled that floodplain information from is the FEMA flood maps. We are working in floodplain and proposing a small amount of fill. This is off the top of my head, but I think it's 7.3 cubic yards.
Exactly what it was. Good job.
That's the national
Correct.
floodplain.
That's within the FEMA flood zone. We have some concerns typically with projects like this, you have to provide, or any notice of intent with work in water land subject to flooding, you have to provide compensatory flood storage. We did submit as a limited project, so we're seeking some relief from that standard just because we want to avoid having to excavate behind a dam for safety issues, and Mark can go more into depth on that end, but we are seeking some relief from that standard.
That makes sense, sir? Because I know you throw a lot of stuff at you, right? Basically, they're gonna fill in 7.3 cubic yards, and they have to, in the floodplain, provide 7.3 cubic
They
yards
taken into
worth of storage.
consideration the development that's going on around there? As far as the new development that's being proposed to be put in there, that's in between those two floodplains? There's a 700 unit condo or something going in over there, and if that's all gonna be built on, that's gonna reflect the floodplain that's in between the two flood insurances, the two flood plains themselves, and then Silver Lake. And they're building right in the middle of that, so wouldn't that alter the water flow and of everything? That's why I was getting at raising the board, because if the climate change is making water come up and stuff, do we not want to conserve it or let it go out faster or whatever? But if the development's being built over here and they're in between the floodplain and they alter the flow of water and it pushes that down, that's only gonna push the lake up, is it not? Yes, that's a whole different scenario. So my question was, the development that's being put in these, around these floodplains, is that going to affect the lake as well?
Well, they'll be held to the same standards that any other project would be held to, which is that they're not supposed to result in a net fill of floodplain. So they should be held to those same standards, and in saying that, that should, I don't know anything about the project,
Mhm.
but.
But they should be held to those standards.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate your input. Thank you. And we'll follow up with Hannah about moving forward on some of those other concerns you have. Okay, Ariane, I think we had a vote. You, yes? You were first? Refused. I just want to make for the record. Yes, okay. So James.
Aye.
Neil. Don.
Aye.
Pam.
Aye.
Mike, aye. Unanimous vote.
This
Okay.
is to continue.
This is to continue
I
to
wanna
the
make sure.
12th. I'll take the word. Thank you after all that. But we've got some good info.
Yeah.
So thanks for coming in, Greg. I appreciate it. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, one item left on the regular agenda for each other business, and that is a continued hearing for, notice of intent for 15 Cranberry Meadow Drive, construction of a garage within the 100-foot buffer zone. John McGare is, applicant, and Dan Driscoll from Driscoll and Surveying is the representative. Gentlemen, come forward as you are and have a seat. We did a site walk this past Saturday with a number of members, and your site, which is very accurately represented, think now on the revised plan, which was just added to the portal recently, and I think I printed out for you the last copy to compare, which showed a little more notation around the area to the right on the site where there is park mulch and so forth, and talks about removing it. Neil, James, you go over there, would you have any comments, thoughts? Don, you're there? Any,
Don, go first.
Don, you got some input, questions?
No, unfortunately.
I did note that the revised, plan, which you probably what, days ago, a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah, today, actually.
Have the, notations on the right side there for removing bark mulch and going around the back where the garage was, where it had been disturbed and so forth, or certainly will be when you remove the garage, and needs some restoration that would be putting in a non-invasive native mix of some sort. I looked for the commission at the meeting here, since we did not discuss that in any detail on the site, but noted that that should probably be brought up in the meeting. We may want to get a little more specific than that before issuing any kind of official vote on this, as we usually do in situations like this. So I'll take input from which members do we think, the applicant providing a proposed mix of some sort and detailed, a little more specifics on what you mean by, non-invasive native mix.
Yeah, I think an actual list of the seed mix would be preferred.
And generally you can refer to, or sorry, reference a source that you got that from, whether it's a qualified wetland scientist, opinion, or some notation for that particular type of area or whatever, as a source for that. That would probably be fine. I don't think we need to go to the extent of having somebody who has to be hired and paid for by the applicant.
Right.
To recommend that if the mixes make sense to Hannah and others who we provide.
There's a bunch of standards, seed
Yeah.
mixes for that type of.
And you're comfortable with getting that?
Yeah, and talking with John, the owner, he may be interested in planting some like fruit trees or, high bush blueberry, something that's native, non-invasive, but a little more than just,
Just correct.
just grass or fern or whatever.
et cetera.
No more apple trees.
No, I'd love to plant apple trees.
I don't know. We would generally only recommend high bush blueberries when it comes to fruit stuff, but what do you guys know about the apple tree or native trees?
Well, he just brought up apple trees.
Well, yeah, no,
That was more for attracting deer. right?
Feed them in the winter.
Like I'm so weird about, I know that lots have deer in their yard. Yes.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, native species would be
Of
encouraged.
low, like grass vegetation,
Well-
peat mix, or plantings of some sort like.
A little
blueberry.
both, because it needs,
Yeah.
we need bushes, we need something on the ground to stabilize the
Yeah, the
soil.
grass in the wintertime especially dies off with the low stuff, so having some blueberry bushes or small apple trees or something. that-
Whatever you recommend, I have no
Well,
problem with.
yeah, we'd like to get your recommendations.
Well, I mean, like you said.
Native mix.
blueberry, whatever.
Don's comfortable with going to source of that, and high bush blueberries, I don't think we ever turn down anybody who wants to plant along the wetlands, because they do well, and they are native species that. What's that? Well, maybe
I mean,
not.
the
I'll bring it up after. Okay,
The plants I've had good luck with in the past has been like high bush blueberry, sweet pepper bush, red oaks and dogwood, something that's native but not invasive. And then,
whatever ground cover.
whatever ground cover would work too.
One of the questions that came up that I thought I'd bring up at the meeting here tonight, we noted on the site, and the applicant had questioned me on it. I said we talk. There is a tree that's come down across a portion of the stream that runs along that side, right side of the property. That stream, which has been maintained by the applicant, clearing silt and leaves and so forth at the culvert where it goes under the street and then past the neighbor's house across the street and into a wetlands, which is somewhere downhill from that, has been maintained by the applicant. He's willing to continue to do that. Obviously doesn't want to have water backing up along the stream into the property, but also as a thing he's just been doing for years. We noted that there was also a large corrugated plastic, for lack of a better description, pipe coming out in the backside of the neighbor who's directly behind and uphill from them. And that water that comes out of that pipe has salt and other stuff in it. We're not sure if it's a town-owned drainage line from the development that has been created uphill or some other source, or maybe that property owner, or we just don't know. I suggested to the applicant that you might want to approach the DPW and have them scope it out. If it was a street drain that is fronting out and flowing into this stream, which is adding to silt and so forth, like it's negatively affecting his property, they certainly,
Clearly a street drain, I mean.
it probably is, but
That is a
Yes.
town, there is a drainage easement where that pipe comes down.
That's what my father had said, it was an easement there years ago.
Yeah, there's still an easement there.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so that pipe is.
Within the easement. So it's probably drainage from the end of when Quail Run was put.
Right, very likely. I'm just thinking if it was me and I was looking at the bottom of that, having a pipe that comes out and flows across, at least into a stream that's across, going down my property and is adding to the silt level and other things. The Conservation Commission may get concerned because it goes, has the applicant's been keeping the culvert clear down under the street, past, I don't know how it goes out, is standard
Well,
ground.
if it's
on the outside of the street?
siltation, then that's a DPW maintenance
under the
issue
street.
on Quail Run.
Right, perhaps, or salts or whatever is coming out. If it's a street drain, I have also oils and other issues eventually. But my point is, it's not so much just the applicant's property, but it continues on down into wetlands of unknown capacity, size, affected. That's just beyond the person on the opposite street. Do you know when it goes out of the culvert
It
on
goes
the,
out of the culvert, down a hill. And
just
there's a big-
open in the stream? Or
Yeah,
is it in no
stream,
pipe?
and then
Okay.
it dumps into like a swamp.
Yeah, that's the
Right in
one.
front of
My
you
guess
from my
is
house.
that it was put in before the Water Protection Act existed, and that.
Well, how long ago was Quail Run Road put in? Was it in your time?
We'll run
30
road
years ago,
plan is
maybe?
1987.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure what could be
Well,
done.
it's also not really relevant.
Only that I discovered that it goes into another wetlands, which we may want to get concerned about down the
But
road.
it's not relevant to this application.
No, I wouldn't have noticed
at all.
DPW were to come in and say like, oh, we're gonna be like making that pipe bigger, then that's when we would say like, well, you're gonna have to treat total streams.
Right, which they're not,
Right.
which is not,
This wouldn't have come up at all, me mentioning it if we hadn't gone to the site because of this application. So I'm not trying to tie it into this. I'm just pointing out for the members who were not there, Pam and Ariane, to see, to note that there was something that was happening upstream, which affects the stream, will continue to affect the stream, which was running across the person's property, but eventually, maybe never, we might need to deal with it. It becomes an issue with the DPW rather, or want to do something along that line, or that the people across the street start saying there's, you know, issues downhill from them in the swampy area that's in the back of their property. I don't know if it's on the property or what. But that, in that point in time, we may need to get involved. But anyway, back to the point. Anything else about the vegetation plantings that people want to add?
I want to bring up,
Sure.
I think we asked about it at the original hearing, but the updated plan still says that everything in front of that proposed garage is existing gravel, which I think we saw was like sandy mulch. Fill was definitely brought in. When was that put in? Because that's all within the buffer zone.
There was a lot of work in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I put a fence up, my dogs. But it's always been gravel there.
Okay.
Or whatever is there now is what is then,
Right.
whether it's gravel or sandy mix or whatever.
Because it was a lawn in 2023.
That was never a lawn.
I don't think the picture that we see that, I think the picture you're talking about, you might should, could you come up and take a look at the picture you're seeing? There, sorry.
Yeah, that was never a lawn. You see where the camper is?
Yeah.
That was just like weeds that grew through the gravel.
Yeah, I just don't see
And then-
gravel.
Oh, it's under that. I mean,
The sand mix, whatever is over top of
yeah,
gravel.
and then, like I said, took some trees in the yard and put the fence up, and I have a York rake that I just raked it out, cleaned it up.
So you've been doing some work maintaining that area in the last couple of years. For years,
For years.
right.
Yeah, that's what camper was parked.
Mhm. I guess my only concern is that's a pretty big area to just have sheet flow into that stream
Mhm.
unvegetated.
Of course, if you're parking on it and killing whatever you're got vegetation of, going back towards the house and the fence you're talking about.
Right, and now that there's an existing project in front of us,
Mhm.
I mean, technically, regardless of whether or not you knew what you were doing was okay or not, which happens all the time, people don't understand everything all the time, so completely understand. Doing that to that lot, that within the buffer zone was against the Wetlands Protection Act without permission from the commission. So now that we have an existing project here, I think it would be pertinent for us to request that that be revegetated.
To what area? Back to outside of the
25, anything outside of 25.
Where's the 25? The 100 goes up into about the fence, right?
Yeah.
Fence line?
Yeah, you must.
Move fast there.
Go back, he's pretty much to the corner of the house.
Yeah.
25, yeah. Everything over here.
Yeah.
Gets revegetated.
Right, yeah, but we're already talking about revegetating along the stream. I think,
Not all the way down here.
oh, you're talking about towards the road, but on that part of the side of the property.
Like
They're
the
only talking about
entrance
up here.
side where stuff is,
Parked.
yeah,
Because I saw,
or the yard side.
right, well, I want to make sure that I'm clear. If you're talking about the area to the left on the, where the proposed garage is,
Mhm.
that's going to be a building, obviously, so we wouldn't revegetate that, but
No, right.
everything to the right of that, outside of the, sort of within the 25-foot buffer, right up to the stream where it's already mulched right up to it, pretty much would be revegetated. But are you talking about an additional area or just all the way down to the street? Where it might not be clearly marked to do that all the way down to the street?
Yeah, I would say all the lot that was previously disturbed should be restored in kind to what was.
What if we
Except
just
for
go
the
with the
garage.
25-foot?
That's fine.
Because that's a easier standard to meet.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 50.
Previously disturbed is.
The 50 is all still before we hit the garage.
Just
Yeah,
barely,
but-
yes.
No, they still need access through, that's where their access, that's where their driveway is.
Is it? I thought it went straight.
No,
Oh.
no, the driveway comes in from the side.
Oh.
That's where we were parked over on that
Yeah.
right side.
So the driveway kind of runs along the edge of that erosion control barrier.
Yeah.
So anything to the south of the erosion control barrier where the wood chips are, that's all gonna be the restored area. The existing gravel in the front of the garage that goes kind of across the front of the lot of parallel to Cranberry, like where the arrow is now.
I mean, that's just gonna get refreshed where you put your trucks and.
Although you're trying to say now, you can get rid of that gravel and.
Oh, no, and I'll clean all that up in front
Right,
of
because he's gonna need to keep the
Like
gravel to the other side of the garage to have access to it.
So are you going into the garage from the right side or from the front onto Cranberry Street? Where are the doors on the garage?
from the right side.
Oh, okay, I wasn't clear on that. I thought you guys straight from the
But
street.
there was a fence there that you could see that was all dilapidated. In the spring, I'm gonna take that fence down and clean up the front and then clean up the garage area like on the street. I mean, the whole backyard's getting removed, reseeded.
So where it says existing gravel, what do you plan on having right to the, between Cranberry Meadow Road and the proposed?
Oh,
garage?
right there. No, I'll put grass there. I'm gonna clean it. I'm not gonna put nothing there.
So you're not parking vehicles there, not paving it, not having the gravel, you would
No.
revegetate that area?
No.
So that'd be a
So
big
that
plus
whole
too.
area is being revegetated.
Right, except where the driveway is between the erosion barrier and the front of the garage, because he's going in on the right side of the building.
Right.
So that makes sense. And then behind the garage, whereas circle for something, I don't know what it is, a tree.
There's a tree.
To be planted or is there?
Yeah.
There now.
Okay, so you're taking the one tree out where it's gonna be in the middle of the garage, 24-inch maple.
That's the one that tree stand was on,
Yeah, okay.
if you remember.
Yeah.
That's the one that's coming out.
And that's the one that's gotta come out, 'cause unless you wanna have a tree house inside your garage. Probably not.
It's
Okay.
kind of big now.
Yeah, it is a
I
bit.
don't want the.
Although you have a ladder to get to the upper
Yeah.
I had a house with a deck that went around the tree.
Yeah.
That's different.
I'm sorry, on the plan way on the side, it's part of the septic system.
Okay.
So I just showed it to, you have a visual that the septic system's over there and not
Somewhere else,
interfering.
we'll be wondering too. Okay.
It's-
That
it's
that
just a
helps
flat
clarify
plan.
that, now I know how the cars are going in the garage and the driveway there and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, I think that's a good point, James. This is a good time to make that officially noted in the notice of intent order of conditions that if the commission, maybe James, you'd like to.
Yeah.
How would you like?
It changed kind of after I said it, so I don't know how we're gonna. Phrase it.
So
If we say it.
I was thinking before knowing the access point to the garage that everything for the 25 over to this, everything beyond the 25 could be restored. But there may be some issues with that with the driveway.
But the 25-foot seems to be clear of the driveway, correct?
Correct.
Right. As it is now, you wouldn't have to change things with the driveway, you'd still be able to get in. I don't think we could do the 50-foot on
No,
that
no, I
side.
don't think.
But if we're
I don't
going to
think- no,
front,
50's not-
I think it's helpful to say that the front area where it says existing gravel,
We could pretty much do almost all the 50 because this is the driveway, the end of the fence. They're coming straight in this way,
They're going in here. This is the 50. How are they gonna
Right.
get into the garage?
right? That,
They're gonna
This
drive
is-
over
this is the
here
driveway.
and try to turn in,
no, do a straight shoot. And over.
but they need to,
Would you want to annotate?
they
Because
need
they have the annotate.
this area between the silt fence and the garage probably has to be where they can go in and out.
So then everybody can kind of see what they're
this side.
Yes.
Oh, I was thinking the door.
No, that's, we
facing
just,
the
yeah,
fence.
the doors are on this side, so they need to be able to access, so anything from the 25, I think if we just pick up the 25, there'll be a definite.
we can get something that should buffer.
Yeah, so like I said, the way that erosion control barrier is, that's gonna be our basic limit. on Running basically along the edge of the driveway now, and that's all outside the 25-foot buffer.
Right.
Yeah.
And then except for the planting goes into the 25.
Probably, and we're just saying, it probably would have been helpful to have the actual driveway hash marked or something to show, since you're not changing it, where it is exactly, so we could say, oh yeah, you got that clear. I think noting that the existing gravel area that is, or the area that is shown as existing gravel between the proposed garage and Cranberry Meadow Road is going to be revegetated also, I think is helpful to mention in the order of conditions, because that's a substantial looking area. And saying that it's gonna be done is, it makes it sort of, make sure that it does get done, nobody forgets, as well as the entirety of the 25-foot no disturb area would be restored wherever needed, if there's obviously growing vegetation or some sort, they'll tear it out to put in new, if it's not invasive, but that area be done as well.
Do we want posts with badges? Do we want a fence? How do we want to show the 25-foot line?
That's a good question. I'm open to suggestions. A row of posts or a fence is the usual way that we have people put badges, which she provides, Hannah provides.
Yeah, silt fence.
Given how open it is and how short a distance it is, I think a few posts. would be fine.
Yes, a few posts and badges.
So
along the
4x4
25
foot pressure treated
along
or
the-
something, that you want an iron post in with concrete or whatever. that'd be up to you guys. Minimal disturbance ideally when you're putting the post in.
Every 25 feet along the 25-foot line.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
And then everything from the 25-foot back gets revegetated, no disturb zone.
Up to
5 or
the
6
extreme.
posts.
Yeah, so I don't know if you heard Neil suggesting 25, every 25 foot along
Okay,
the 25 foot.
I was gonna suggest at the bends. Can I come up and point at that?
Sure, yeah. If it makes sense to move it a little bit closer together or have them.
Yeah, if the fence, yeah,
You know, if we put a post here and here, then you can line the two up and not go past it. Put one here and one there.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4 posts at those bends.
and then everything,
And then this area will get all revegetated.
this whole area.
Well, the only disturbed area is inside this little
This is,
trapezoid
no,
thing. That's all,
is
that
that
was all
still,
woods, yeah.
that's all wood still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the town disturbed that when a big tree fell down
Ah,
this winter, and the stump is still there, and they still haven't cleaned it up.
damn town.
And the other area that I'm suggesting we put in the order of conditions, the existing, identifies this as the.
Is that gonna get lawn or what's that gonna get?
Whatever I can do, because there's trees there, I don't know how good of a lawn it's gonna be,
Yeah.
I mean, do what I can do. I'm
But
gonna clean it up,
vegetated,
obviously.
that's why I can keep it loose and say vegetated as opposed to staying existing ground.
It's outside the 50, so, yeah. And it's previously disturbed, so. Okay.
Be an improvement.
Yep.
All right.
Excellent.
Just to clarify. for
Yeah,
when
the
we're
person writing
this
the
up.
if you
Yep.
can be clear as you want.
So we're doing an approved seed mix and everything's being restored within the 25 feet,
Correct.
right?
To the edge of the
The
resource area.
25-foot no disturb zone. So anything outside the 25-foot no disturb zone isn't getting revegetated? Okay.
Except the,
Existing gravel.
excepting the
In front of the garage. down the road.
existing gravel area marked as existing gravel on the plans between Cranberry Meadow Road and the
Proposed garage.
proposed
Or
garage.
if it's not being used for access.
So
Obviously, we're not saying do over the
which part is
driveway.
not being?
Let me just ask you,
accessed?
Front.
right now, on the street,
Oh,
we
so
have a
just
6
that
foot
section
stockade
right there?
fence, and then there's a row of rocks.
Yeah,
And
that's
then there's
all.
about a 5 feet thing of mulch. like-
Yeah, it's kind of overgrown and a little bit.
Yeah, I cleaned that up,
Yeah.
you know, but that fence is coming down and then the rocks, there's obviously, there's not gonna be grass right to the street. I'm not gonna move all those rocks.
No.
Oh, okay, and.
I'm just saying, I'm giving as a boundary, the
Trees
street as
down.
opposed to a row of rocks, which I didn't know about, I remember. So
Okay.
referencing from Cranberry Meadow Road,
Yeah,
you could leave the rocks, certainly, we aren't asking you to disturb the area much more than
okay.
revegetated
Right.
and get out the gravel or.
And like I said, I'll do my best to grow grass there, but just trees there, so I don't know. So, yeah.
So the areas in yellow that I kind of have
Yes.
highlighted up here, so this is gonna be revegetated and this is gonna be revegetated.
Right, and then if you can annotate the 25-foot no disturb.
And any
over-
place disturbed over here. Yeah.
And any place to strip, so I have
From the
the,
25-foot line
Yeah.
to the,
It says this isn't, this is, so.
to the
The disturbed
wetlands
area.
markers, or what are those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10?
those are
flags?
those are the flags.
Yeah, okay, so over to the flagged
Yeah.
area, I guess, which would be the
Okay.
edge of the stream is where you flagged it, right? Yeah, okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the resource area,
Okay, so
up
we
to the edge
have,
of it.
so we have can you update the plans to show where the proposed grass area is gonna be for the
Sure.
final plan set?
As well as I would put hash mark driveway in the
Okay.
the existing driveway, that'd be really helpful to have for future plans.
And call out the position of the
And
posts
those
as well.
posts.
Yeah.
So hash mark driveway, planting in front.
Get your CAD guy busy. Or is that you?
Looking at 'em.
And then, so we're doing the approved seed mix in all those replanted restoration areas, right? Along with a mix of shrubs, so, I mean, I would suggest, you suggested 3, so I'd suggest at least getting 2 of those 3 varieties
Okay,
to get in there. And then typically, when I saw restoration plans, it would be, 8 feet, 6 to 8 feet on center, 4 feet tall, shrubs. What type of area would you like them to do the restoration plantings in that whole area?
Well, not in front of the garage. I don't
Or
think
just
we need
in
one.
that
He's already got
section.
trees there.
Yeah, just
Where the existing garage is.
existing garage, this area here.
And the area.
And the area that was
chips
disturbed.
were-
Where the wood chips were.
Disturbed area.
We know there are trees around those wood chips too, so again, you have,
Yeah, let me ask you, if I plant them and they die, am I responsible to replant them?
Depends on how soon they die.
I mean,
So, I mean, we're-
there's not gonna be any sun there at all.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, that's why you want to have your consultant here provide the best possible options. We're not telling you to put certain thing in and you gotta make it live. We're saying you plant what you think will go there that's non-invasive and native. And you can pick and choose and come up with a plan for Hannah.
And wants a nice shady light.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So
You got a pretty good canopy.
restoration, in answer to your question, though, restoration plans, we do usually require 2 to 3 year monitoring period, during which time a certain amount of die off is expected, but not like 100%. So what is it? Usually
75%.
75%, so if 25%, 1 out of every 4 trees dies, it happens. If the shrub, if the herbaceous area grows really well, except in a few spotty areas, again amounting to about 25% off, you're fine. But if it gets like 50% die off, then yes, we expect some replanting to happen. That would be done in coordination with Hannah. She, check it out and, come to an agreement on whatever. As far as spacing things out, obviously, if there's a recommendation of 4 to 6 feet apart or 6 to 8 feet apart at a certain height, and you're working around existing trees, you gotta use your common sense and say, it doesn't make sense here, we gotta squeeze it. But knowing that you're making the effort, you're gonna provide the plans, the plantings that you're gonna recommend, Hannah can look it over, go back and forth on that a little bit and be good. So not having completed revised plans, do you want to continue and just say, or vote to accept with the condition as we've sometimes done that we get the revised plan?
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay.
I think we've got
So-
the only condition I want to add, if it's not in our standard, which I'm not sure if it is invasives monitoring. And
In the
for the
replanted
3 year,
area?
yeah.
Within the 3 years?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that
that's definitely not.
Is
in
what?
the boilerplate.
part of the conditions that we would be putting on the project also would be monitoring to the same time period for 2 or 3 years of the new stuff that you put in, that there's no invasive species coming in. Something coming up, in which case you pluck it out. You don't have to come to us, just keep that out of there. That's what James was willing to add in, which is perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
I think.
Plus it gives the natives a better chance to thrive.
Okay, so we're clear on what do you want to write? Okay, any other comments from the commission members? Don, Pam, anybody on there have questions?
Nope, that all sounds good to me.
Nope. Yep.
Did we get the DEP number yet? Okay, so
We can't close.
forgot about that,
We
yeah.
can't close.
Okay,
Get close.
so we're gonna look for motion to continue this to the next hearing, anticipating both revised plans with the plantings and other orders of condition that we've been listed for the applicant and Hannah. And acquisition of a DEP filing number, which we do not yet possess, so we cannot close the hearing until we have that. So I will accept a motion to continue the hearing to the evening of the 12th of February. James? Well, if we have everything in place, it's just gonna be a yes.
It's
I
hopefully
think we
just
can
a
handle
vote, yeah.
It'll be 5 minutes.
it. If we don't have it, we have to continue it. It could be another 5-minute thing anyway. So it's up to the DEP, our hands are tied until we get that from them.
Are you, just a side note question, you finding the DP's taking a long time to get file numbers?
Yeah, last month or so, yeah.
Yeah, because, John has the
check cleared.
check cleared and on their site,
Yeah.
in my green card that I sent them, they received it on December the 23rd. It's like a
Oh,
month ago.
they didn't do anything.
The holidays.
I know, I'm
There's
just,
a lot
I'm
of-
just curious.
There's a lot of sickness going around,
Yeah.
so could be a lot of that too.
All the changes in
I know, I got people, a lot of people out.
And did you bring the advertising check too?
John has it.
Okay. So, we'll hope that it'll happen. If it doesn't, one way or the other, we're prepared to either have you walk away with something or, as a vote, or, defer it to the next meeting because we have to get the CP.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
If we have it, you probably won't even have to come back in.
Will we know we have the number before?
Yeah, I'll
the meeting? Or you'll know?
He'll put it on the
And they
website.
notify
They'll put it
us.
on the website. Yeah.
okay, did we get the first and second?
I said so moved. I don't know if anyone seconded.
Yes, I think. Did one of you guys online second James's motion to continue to the 12th?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Dan.
I'll second it.
Okay, all right, hearing any other comments, questions, we're good? Ariane,
Aye.
Pam,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
Neil,
Aye.
James,
Aye.
Mike, aye, so, okay,
Great.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
I'll see you on the 20.
That can just go to the town of Bellingham and then we pay it. to-
106.
Yeah.
It's good with his numbers. huh?
Like, I thought-
What you get him, huh?
where I found this.
Yeah, that's good. But if you have a pen, I can give you that. Thank you. All right, okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
She left, she was just observing.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right, so we have approval of the annual report. I made a few comments back in the day when Hannah sent that out to us via email. Anybody else have any comments for the approval of the annual report? I think I tell you two things I put in here. It says the commission, one of the last lines on the annual report said, the commission also provides legal expertise or litigation assistance to town council on an as-needed basis. I said requests instead of provides legal expertise. I don't think we're gonna have to provide.
Oh, good point.
Yep, and then,
I mean, I'd be happy to, but you know, I only play a little on television, so.
There you go. And then the other comment I made was, the commission started with 5 serving members, ended the year with a full 7-member commission. Members serving on the commission this year were Chairman Michael Herron, Vice Chair Ken Stanley, Noel Leos, who was replaced, I put by, Pamela Francis, I put another word in there. But anyway, Ariane, Steve, James, Don, and, that was pretty much it. I thought we'd done a lot more things than were shown on there, but we don't have to justify other things that we've done. I think that it covered.
Well, think about how long some of those
Yeah,
notices.
well, the term are, only 3 requests for determination of flexibility. I was like, we've done more than that. So 15 is. Yeah. So,
No, it doesn't have them all listed out.
no, yeah, it is what it is, and I think, as I told Hannah today, we would love to have everybody in town read that and be thrilled with the conservation message out, but I don't think anybody's gonna read it, other than a few interested people in town who do care about that kind of stuff, and, members of this board.
And our enemies.
And there are no enemies. But if anybody on the commission has anything else they'd like to add to the approval of the annual report, we do have to actually vote on it, yes?
Yeah.
So-
No, Amy told me.
I think that's why I highlighted it. I don't think I put in replace. I think I highlighted the word replace.
I'm looking through my email and I'm not finding this. Am I missing it somehow?
I just uploaded it to the portal.
Oh, okay.
It was a pretty early, with me being away and Amy uploading some stuff kind of slipped through the cracks. So I was
Because-
doing a bunch at like 5 today.
Can the well really be replaced? I mean, come on, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, like she resigned and then
yes.
Miss
We filled the
Pamela
And the
Francis
vacancy was
Yeah.
joyfully filled,
graciously.
graciously filled by Pam.
And thoughtfully, because she's very considerate about not coming in and getting us infected.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate that. Darn those little germ factories, I mean, children that you.
I know.
I've got a 4-year-old grandson and, you know, same kind of thing, just send him off to preschool. It's like, okay, I get him back.
Oh, off to the Petri dish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you use prior? I know we supposedly hadn't seen them in a while, but
I actually had Amy set it up because
I never had anything.
No.
Yeah, it's-
the bandwidth was low for this one. So Amy kind of went through all of our previous
I think-
agenda items and
I think
looked at it that way.
That's, I think it's fine the way it is, but other than word tagging that from replaced, maybe we just a little, yeah, Noel Leos, who resigned and was subsequently, I don't know,
So you can say her seat was
and her seat was filled by,
filled, yeah.
yeah, Frank was good suggestion. All right, so I guess we'll accept the motion to accept the annual approve and accept the annual report for the Conservation Commission for 2024.
So moved.
As noted with the
The
minor,
word change.
the minor word changes, as noted. Okay, so moved by Pamela, thank you.
Yes.
And seconded by anybody?
I'll second.
Seconded by Ariane, okay. Any other discussion, questions? Anybody need more time to review it and excruciating detail? Okay, explicit detail. Okay, Ariane. Vote. Okay, thank you. Pam?
Aye.
Okay, Don?
Aye.
Neil? James?
Aye.
Mike, aye. You know, so thank you, everyone. Okay, good job with the annual report, Hannah and Amy. We have the minutes for 3 meetings.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
The 10,
So
23.
those for the ones for 10/23 and for 12/11 are on the January 8th, because those just got continued to.
Right, we sort
That's
of
fine.
decided there wasn't a pressing need, we're pretty current on them, and we just postponed them to this meeting. The 8 minutes were relatively new to.
Right, because it was only like midnight when we got out of here.
Hey, I gave everybody free reign to speak. and
It
that
was
a
late.
mistake. I should have known so many people on the commission would bring. You didn't know that this tonight was gonna go to the damn discussion lingered on
Yeah,
there.
it's been an hour and 15 minutes. This is so late for me. It's past my bedtime.
I know. Okay, all right, I sent to Hannah just a little while ago, my notes and comments, I didn't have a lot on there, I can call them up on my phone, read them up, but they're mostly all type of. Just that, note taker, I'm blanking on her name. Fill it in. Caitlin, thank you, Duquette, right, Duquette, that she tries spell check. When I hit spell check, it's calling up words that are like earth and burn, it was spelled right once and wrong once, and it caught it. Yeah, so I didn't have anything major, there was nothing of huge substance, there wasn't a question about what they mean, it was just, minor type of.
You can
And
say that.
the word, they did spell Conservation Commission wrong, which I highlighted in yellow, so. I sent those 3 to you as Word documents.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then it said share with Dorothy,
20-something years.
I do have some, based on the January eighth
Yeah.
one, but I do have
Let me pull
some
that up.
concerns with like the content.
Okay, well, if you have content, bring it up.
Like,
By all
well,
means.
this one I've already started like making changes and track changes, but like just
Oh, okay.
some of them, like, Mr. Petrosi presented a map of the stream channel indicating that Holbrook is classified as an intermittent stream, but he was coming in to argue that it should be. So it should say it should be, and then I included like, based on the photographic evidence provided of no flow conditions. And then, and like, she might not know that, because like, that was provided before, like, at the
Right.
beginning.
Yeah,
like-
there was some significant, like debate about, kind of in-depth debate about stuff, so that could definitely have gotten lost in some of the.
I think
translation
if
there.
we had not agreed with the determination,
Yeah,
should change it, but inevitably, the evidence was there and we agreed that, yes, it is.
Although it was
classified.
not a unanimous vote for
It should
either one of
reflect,
them.
Yeah.
it should reflect why he did it, or like,
Negative vote.
like what he is proving, or what he's
Because those
bringing
two
to
fields,
show.
those
an
ones, you
argument.
were the one that read off.
I agree with Ariane on that.
He came in to justify.
And it shouldn't be as if it already is.
Yeah.
It should, like, he thinks it should be, and then we vote on whether it is or not. And then it's like, on another one with the storm scepter for the,
Hartford Ave.
yeah. It just calls out, BSC, but doesn't really say like who they are. So I just added peer review in parentheses. And then it just kind of touches on the issues, like the concerns that you had, but doesn't really give like what was resolved. It's just like, well,
Basically, they said the storm scepters could do insult and some improvement, which they did put in the minutes. And that's where it was left. I didn't continue with it because there wasn't a.
I added a sentence that I asked whether it met the performance standards, because I did, and then BSC said yes. So I don't recall which person from BSC, but I think it was online. Yeah.
I think, BSC wasn't on this one, or, well, he was, but we had the rep here, right? Because
I thought
Dominic
Amanda
was here,
on too.
and I think Keith Lincoln from Chappelle Engineering was the one that was online. I
That's
don't
last
think.
hearing. I think we're talking about 2 hearings ago.
Oh,
You talking about the
hearings?
January 8th meeting, or
Yeah, January 8th.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, that's last hearing.
that was the last hearing, so you were.
That was just, there was the civil guy from BSC that was sitting at the table. And then Chappelle, the town
Yeah, I don't think,
consultant, was on.
Amanda either left before that one came up, because it was near the end of the hearings, and she was on earlier for something else.
I think Amanda was on just 2 hearings ago, not last week.
Yeah, no, I didn't see that. I didn't see, did you see the attendees? She's at the phone.
It says that we were there, and then Hannah and Rob.
Yeah, I don't think it does like applicants as attendees.
not unless they spoke or something like that. That's why I was just wondering if Amanda was shown as speaking earlier when Lupatrosi was up. No, he was on.
Wait, yeah, January 8th was the last one, so that, okay. I got real confused.
Amanda Smith from BSC was
Timeline-wise.
present via Zoom.
She was during that point, because that was like pretty much the last one that I don't think she was on there.
I noticed.
Then it
there
was probably
yeah,
again.
And I think,
December 11th is when
yes, yep,
Amanda was on.
I think
January.
Dominic was
Okay.
from BSC was the one that.
Dominic is the one who said, yes, it meets performance standards. So like, that's what like matters for purposes of the Wetlands Protection Act is like not saying your things don't matter, but like, that's what we have to include in the minutes is like, it meets the performance standards, we determine that, or like all those things are really important to include in it, instead of just kind of.
Especially when we made a determination or made a vote and it was based on that, meeting those standards. So, but yeah, I think that's
Could
important.
you
But that,
imagine the jury if we had to go to court and they had to watch one of our meetings because they could get a sense from the minutes? They would cry. I would cry.
We get the death penalty.
if we're lucky, if we're lucky. So are you suggesting, Ariane, that you would like to defer and continue to look over the 8th minutes in more detail? And we certainly welcome, that's certainly not rushing it to get them passed,
Yeah.
voted on. That's very, very.
January 8th is no problem at all.
And I didn't have too much time to look over
Yeah.
those.
So why don't we do that? Why don't we give people a little more time to look over the January 8th minutes and then just decide on whether you guys are ready to approve and ladies are ready to approve the other two.
The December 11th one, the only issue I saw was for 45 Ruth Allen Road. It says, Mr. Clancy observed that the area is very recommended using jute netting. Both Mr. Clancy and Mr. Coelho agreed with the suggestion. I agreed with my own suggestion.
That was mighty nice of you.
Someone else, I'm assuming it wasn't me, but also agreed. I'm
I'll
assuming it
take
was
that.
somebody else.
I think Amy and Rolla thought at that time that was a good idea.
I just thought that was funny.
Yeah,
I thought it was a
I
good.
agreed with myself.
It's about time.
Yeah, right. I should listen to myself more often.
Right, you should.
Don't listen to the voices, James. You should do it. No, you shouldn't.
I wasn't gonna speak that. I saw that pop up on Cornstalk Drive. I don't know if that's a real place, but I wasn't bothering looking up.
I mean, like a corn stalk is a thing,
Check
but
your meds.
it's SDALK.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
could
think
be
it'll work.
another street. It once called Cornstalk. I
don't think they ever did.
It's con.
It is. I didn't look it up. I don't care about.
I think other than that,
Outside.
both 1023 and 1211, I'm fine with. If we wanna go.
I mean, if that's one of the things that I like. That's
What's the matter, dying?
That's.
I mean, this is still open, it says 9 there, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Don, can you hear us?
Wow.
I can hear you.
All right.
Sorry.
It still says that I'm on Zoom.
It's on and off, sorry.
Did you, plug in, do you have a button on your keyboard that has it like project your screen to another?
F8.
It might be F8, yeah.
Mine's F8.
Or like F8 without pressing the function button. Well, if you didn't press it, then I'm not gonna press it.
No, I'm not sure what F8 even is.
Oh, yours is rewind?
Oh.
I think F11?
Well, it depends on whether you have an Apple or a Mac. I mean, a Mac or a IBM, right?
It's an HP.
It's an HP, but the F8 is different. It's like rewind.
Yeah, mine's the laptop and then the screen behind it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
mine
well,
too.
we both have Dell, so that makes sense.
I guess everyone just does their own thing. Well,
So,
does your mouse work?
I don't know.
so we're not sure if we're recording?
No, Don can hear us, right?
I mean.
I can hear you. I just can't see the
It
board.
says it's being recorded on the
On
screen.
Zoom,
Says
it's
it's still
being
being
recorded.
recorded, and we do have the backup from
Oh, we're
that
Yep.
anyways, so.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys can keep
this isn't
going
even
and
the part of
I'll,
the meeting people care about.
so at some point.
We can't walk across the room with laptops plugged in. That's all. Okay. All right, so,
I would make a motion to accept 1023 and 1211 minutes
as noted with changes.
as noted
So it
with
would change.
exceptions.
Okay. We have a second from Neil, thank you. Any discussion, comments, questions? Okay, so we're holding off on the January 8th one. All right,
Right.
Ariane,
Hi.
Pam,
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
James.
Aye.
Neil. Mike, aye. Unanimous, okay. So we accepted the 1023 and the 1211. We'll defer the 18 till next time. Pole replacement. Ah, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we had a request from a new representative for the power companies, VBH or something like that, and they want to know whether they had to put in what's that?
VHB.
VHB,
Yeah.
thanks.
Use them a lot.
And
Whether they needed to go through Hannah, help me out here. What did they want to know, whether they had to go through one process or another process? What were the two processes?
Yep, so it was either just a maintenance notification or an RDA.
Both of
So
VHB.
from VHB,
Do you know
it was, I do, Jim Bulldog, I believe. So.
I use VHB a lot, so if they don't know this rule already.
I think that I'm not sure if they did or if
Grid.
I think Grid told them, because he came to me asking, and I'd spoken to him about it, and I was like, I know it's exempt, but I'm not sure if it's exempt and they have to prove it with an RDA, or if it's just exempt and.
He's giving us information, telling us what they're doing.
Exactly.
So that's my comment to him today, was we should talk about this at the meeting and say, do we need to get backup from this guy that you know, but some sort of legal thing. So going forward, if this ever comes up with another consultant, or if somebody comes to us from one of the utility companies, that we know this is what they need to do for, because it's gonna be the same for all.
they've always done it over the years. I can't remember what the format was.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
they've come
either.
in before, they've always come in and given us a presentation.
It's more informational, it's not, and we've occasionally asked, okay, you're gonna take this matting away and, and do we even go out and look at it after the fact? I don't think we
No,
ever do.
Never.
So I just wanted to get us on board with, this is how, for future going forward, we should do it.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be one way or the other.
I have a pretty unique experience for this, because this is exactly what I do
Donna hosts, and then he could let you in.
day in and day out.
Pamela.
Okay,
So from my perspective professionally, what we do when we have maintenance activities that are plain and simple replacement of poles, especially in the roadway, or even transmission poles in the right of ways. If it's just plain replacement, we submit a letter notifying the commission, regardless of the town, of the work, explaining the methods that
and
are.
this is what, you were not here, he's telling us exactly
I
what he
brought it
does.
through, I told her the whole script before
Oh,
the meeting, but, so essentially we.
Seems like 2 meetings.
We would, and I can find some redacted versions that I've used for work as examples for you guys later, but we submit, it's a pretty simple template. It's just a 1 or 2 page explaining the work, BMPs that we use. There's usually a map set that's prepared by a vendor, or if we've done it internally, a GIS based map set that has resource areas, usually showing the structures, how they're being replaced, where they're being replaced. They're being replaced in kind. If there's a change in the type of structure, like sometimes wood structures get turned into steel structures, so we'll demarcate that. The only time that, at least for me, and I speak for Eversource, not for National Grid here, the only time we usually come in to present the project to a commission is if we believe it's in the gray area of whether it meets the definition of not a significant alteration. So we can.
James, can I ask a question on that?
Yeah, sure thing.
What if it is actually inside the wetland resource area?
Yeah, so the way the act is written, it doesn't differentiate any of the resource areas, so it could be direct smack in the middle of a wetland. If we are strictly just replacing it in kind in that location, then it's plainly exempt.
But what about the methods that could be used? In other words, you could like fill the wetlands into a certain point and put a gravel road in, drive across it, and replace the pole and destroy that portion of the wetlands, even if you try to return it back to the original.
For maintenance, we have to restore what's existing to what is existing. So if we would never really use a gravel road to access through wetland, we use timber construction matting to get through, which can just get pulled right up, and then the area will revegetate. Sometimes if it's been rutted from the matting, because that matting is very heavy, it's very thick timbers, we'll straw and we'll grade by hand so it's flattened and not rutted, and then we'll straw over top so that it's stabilized, so that if we get a storm, it doesn't sediment the wetland. And then the wetland just kind of naturally revegetates over time. Usually when we do this maintenance, because in that specific instance, Don, if we're maintaining within the wetland itself,
Mhm.
there's also filings we have to do with DEP and the Army Corps of Engineers. And DEP's requirement for maintenance requires us to do monitoring reports with them on a yearly basis. So they actually receive pictures and evidence-based documents that show that the wetland itself is recovered fully from the activity.
So there's a check and balance.
Yep.
And
Correct.
do they send inspectors once in a while to randomly ensure that what's
They-
being reported is accurate?
They have the power to audit. I don't think.
Yeah, it's whether or not they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
And do they ever pass that along, information along to the commissions in the towns that they're in?
If
Or do you have to
DEP
request it,
thinks
or-
there's a violation of some
Then they would
sort, they
notify.
might, yeah.
But otherwise, it doesn't, the utility company / consultants don't normally provide that information, those reports to the local conservation commissions. Not that we need that,
No,
because again, we've got. nothing in the past.
yeah, it's a lot, I'll say from someone who has to read and edit them, it's a lot of information, so it's not super fun.
You'd be amazed when they put the timber mats down, how within a year or two, you can't tell anybody
If,
who's ever
if it's
there.
timed right, if you like,
Yeah.
if we're doing projects now and we put matting in, by the end of the spring, it looks like nothing was there.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing, yeah.
Yeah, so within a year or two, there's
Yeah.
almost no evidence that it ever happened, except for maybe some rutting. That
Yeah.
if you look underneath everything.
Yeah.
Because we have walked some of the wetland lines, on some of the power lines for other reasons and
Yeah.
seen where they did the work, and it's.
And it's good that they come to us. So I think,
But
yeah,
we usually get a presentation. The last time they did poles on the right of way up behind the power plant, VHB came in, did a presentation, had maps, showed us where they were doing the work and how they were gonna get there and all that. So they did do a presentation, but I can't remember if it was just, I think it was more informational. I don't think it was an RDA. I think it was just an informational thing.
We'll usually, and again, this is not, I only have experience with Eversource, so I'm not sure how Grid handles it internally, but our process for whether or not we present in front of a commission is more based off, like, say, the project's in commission land or something, like it's within, like, we have an easement for the line and it goes through protected open space that the commission owns. That might be a case where we come in and present it, because it's commission owned land, so you might have more interest in the project. It still would be fully exempt activity. We still present that, but it's more of a politicking thing where we try to be transparent, show you the project, explain the BMPs in person, know that you have a face and a contact person if there's an issue out there.
Yeah,
otherwise
it's not
just
an
a
RDA. It's definitely not an RDA because they're
Now,
exempt,
what's
so
the letter
they're not
called that
asking
you
for
guys use
determination.
For Eversource,
We just say utility exemption notification is usually.
and what did they say?
They said it was like a maintenance notification.
Yeah.
So similar. So if you can provide that to Hannah, and we can use that as a reference source / template, that if somebody said, well, what do you want to get from us?
Yeah.
We could send that, and they can, again, do the same way you guys do, whatever vendor it is, or National Grid, or Eversource come in, whatever, and if they want to do a presentation for politics, fine. If they not, then they do the submittal.
Yeah.
And then we can just vote on based on that.
Typically, they've come in and
Or not vote on it.
typically they've come in and done a 10-minute presentation with pretty maps and said, we're replacing pole number 206 and
Yeah.
208 and we're getting in this way, we're gonna use mats and we're gonna do it this time of year, and they just run through it for us.
They essentially read the.
Yeah, it's usually it has been VHB in the past from time to time, so.
Although this guy sounded like he didn't know what he was doing, so is maybe the new president of VHB?
No, I don't think he's new. I'm assuming the representative at Grid asked him to confirm.
Oh, okay.
He might not have done
Seems like
work.
that's what
I
happened.
do this sometimes with commissions, especially when we're working with a commission that I don't work with a lot. I'll call the agent or say, what does your commission expect to see from us? Because if the commission is used to us coming in, I don't want to completely just ignore them and just send a letter and say, here's what it is. There's been cases where I've submitted a letter and the commission says, can you please come in and present? We'd never say no to that.
Right.
There's always, we'd still plainly say, you can't tell us not to do this work because it's exempt activity. But I'll come and explain it to you all day.
I think we should anyway, because we do have new members, and there is, it is educational to understand the process for this work and what they're gonna be doing, so I don't think it's for you. For the newer members, I don't think it's a bad sort of refresher
See
to.
if we can make it on the 12th of February. I think we have a few
No.
extra 30 seconds.
What are the 28th?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm sure they're both.
Well, let's
So we
not
just
put-
got.
let's not push them out that much.
It's
Okay.
2 meetings away.
Yeah, I know, that's,
Well, the
So-
12th is no, can't be on the
I
12th.
know, but it's rough. Seeing it from my side, if I were to submit something to the commission, usually 30 days is what we give the commission to kind of respond.
Actually, it said that at the bottom of the thing, and this was November, so December at 26th.
Oh, it's already gone by?
It's already, 30 days is already passed.
Because the letter is not us asking permission. It's
Right, no.
telling you
no.
we are doing this work.
Right,
If
and
you
if
have
that-
questions or
If
concerns.
we don't hear from you in 30 days, we'll proceed with the project as if we had received
Right.
approval.
Oh, I don't think we
Without-
haven't gotten a letter yet.
Oh, those were
I
just
think you're
examples.
referring to the Norfolk mosquito one, or you looked at an example.
I
just
looked at an
gave-
example
I
one.
just gave the examples that he sent me that were from Bellingham, because I couldn't find any in our records when I was looking through stuff.
We got one from us from last year as a transmission.
Maybe it was November
Yeah, it
20,
was
maybe it was
Norfolk
November
property.
of 2023, I don't remember. I didn't look at the year, I just looked at the month and I was like, okay, if this is the current letter, yeah.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't mosquito control.
Oh, okay.
I would say if we get like, those are examples, so we're not
Yeah.
worried about hearing those, but if we get one, we'd probably want to respond to them immediately and say, please come in, present.
Yeah, but they can do it online too.
Yeah,
If their, schedules, like if they're trying to get it done right away and they wanna be on the 12th.
Yeah.
Be like, can you come on the 12th? Otherwise, I'll see if they wanna go.
I'll
look at
speak
it.
from the environmental permitting team. A lot of times it happens where we get a work order and they're like, we're starting this in 2 weeks. Submit your letter.
Yeah.
So sometimes the representatives just don't have the time before construction starts. It's hard to, especially when we have to get an outage on a transmission line.
Mhm.
Those outages are very expensive.
Yeah,
It's hard for the company to justify missing that because
Yeah.
we came in to present a project that was plainly exempt. So.
okay,
Like
yeah, I'll
that-
check
that's-
in with him, because he was being super flexible, and he
Yeah.
was just like, hey, like, this is what I saw, like, what do you guys wanna do? So he was super nice.
He must be out of the Worcester office.
Okay, last item, Norfolk County Mosquito District Information Session. Information.
Wait, what about this?
Norfolk County Mosquito Control District?
Info session.
Yeah,
Info is in the portal. Yeah, so they wanted to do down at the far south end of town, but where the gas stations are, so forth, a drainage line, a drainage ditch, basically, that's been clogged up. They want to just clear it out and get the flow restored underneath 126, to the drain line. I don't know what happens if it gets to the other side of 126, but that's not.
kind of another situation like this where they're just notifying us because they're exempt, but if, we had any comments that we wanted to make, you could let them know, essentially.
They're gonna take any fill that they pull out of the area, I forget the word they use, but it's something, spread it around in a nice way in the upland area, which is, and this little tiny triangular lot surrounded by houses and gas stations and stuff like that is not a resource, really. Like,
I think they're gonna take that out. and just list it outside.
no, I saw the word spread upland, I was like, upland, what upland is there? You think they
I think
should?
it was the upland,
Yeah, I do remember the words upland, because I thought they were gonna say take it off site, and how much it was.
I think I uploaded everything.
But they're gonna have a backhoe for some of the work, it sounds like a machine for some of the work, and then
Is there an address on this?
There should be a location, a map location on one of the second ones, so not on this one, but
I wonder, yeah, I'm trying to,
notification.
it's in the portal, the info's in the portal there, because including the notification from mosquito control. You just took that in today. We were talking to our Vermont member, that mosquito control part, but.
Do you have an easement there?
missed it.
I asked her for, just
Given
because
how
I
heavily
wasn't
surrounded
familiar
the
with it,
area is by
and I wasn't sure how
Stuff?
familiar.
people's houses, gas stations, so it's like right near, I think it's right across from the new 7-Eleven that they have put in.
So it's the federal exemption,
7-Eleven?
and then there's.
Cumberland Farm, Cumbies, yeah, right out to the Cumbies, I think, is where that little triangular, tiny triangular piece of land is, and I'm like, I don't think a bird's ever flown into that area and made it out alive, or there's no ducks, for a resource area, I think it's just.
yeah, I
Maybe
don't
no
see it
deer.
on the, I don't, mosquito
Oh.
ditching federal exemption, I see that, that's the. But I don't see the location.
Yeah, it says to remove obstructions though, not to.
Is there an address or a location or anything like that?
In the portal on the 1127, if you scroll down, there's a map and a picture.
I don't have a,
30 South Main Street, is that what I'm seeing?
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, 30 South Main Street.
It's not Pulaski Boulevard?
It says 30 South Main Street ditch maintenance.
Yep, 30 South
Oh.
Main Street.
30 South Main.
You're talking about Pulaski Boulevard.
South Main, stays South Main into Woonsocket.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't? No,
It turns into
No,
Pulaski Boulevard,
it does at the junction there. The
at
lights.
Perks Corner.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very close to First Corner. It's right, it's very south. If that
Yeah.
makes-
It's
Like I said,
30 South Main Street?
Where are they gonna find the space to spread that hill? Nothing.
I'm not sure. It seems like they coordinated with
I didn't even get 30 South Main Street on the.
I think they should just take it
On
off.
the assessor's map.
Like quarter, like an eighth of a truck.
We can have
Oh, there it is.
She's in my trunk.
We were trying to coordinate to have her come, but there's, some extenuating circumstances going on over there. So
30 South Main Street is right by the,
gave me a ton of information.
almost in the
And then
Perks
was like,
Corner.
if you
That,
guys have any
Oh,
there's
specific
a-
questions,
down
ask,
there.
Drainage
they're not
there?
gonna do
I thought it was
anything
further
for
up
next
here,
year, so it's
further up,
because
oh, that's right.
It's screwed up from the snow anyways. And it's cold.
yeah, I can't.
there's not even a triangle of, that's by the old South School. That's across the street from the old South School Park.
If you look at it on Google Maps Street View, it does look like there's a depression, which must be what they're talking about.
It doesn't even show an easement.
So are you
Yeah,
guys looking
it's-
at the,
on
I'm
the
looking at
assessor's
Google
map.
Maps.
oh, okay.
From various maps, Google assessors.
Yeah, I'm on the assessor's map. It doesn't show any easement.
Wasn't there something in the portal with one of those two notification things that you stuck in there that
Yes.
wasn't that?
Yep, that's what I was talking about. That just
Anybody-
gives exactly.
But we can't share. it.
I know, actually, I think,
Oh, wait a minute,
we
we may have a tech
we
fix.
swapped computers so that she could share because mine died.
There we go, coming up.
So this is 30 South Main Street, so it's in between
Yeah,
those.
You're right there.
I thought it was further down,
that's funny.
or
because
further up. Rather.
The assessor's map does not show an easement along there. Not that the assessor's. map-
It's strange.
And I did do a site visit out there just to like see what it looked like. And the culvert is completely clogged, so there's like nothing
Oh.
that can go out through there.
Right.
It's, I mean, like almost 3/4,
Where the hell does it
4/5
go?
of the way up that culvert is clogged with.
Where the hell does it go? It's
stuff.
surrounded by houses.
Yeah, that's
It's
what I.
Yeah.
mosquito control, I guess. So
Yeah,
maybe it goes into the, no,
Goes into that maybe 60 South Main Street wooded area?
I think it goes into.
They showed the flow
blue
going
drain.
towards South Main Street though, it's not going back into the
It's
site.
weird. Yeah.
This is called a gravity drain on the legend. So I think it goes in there and that's a sewer line.
It's not sewer. There's no sewer down there.
Stormwater line.
Stormwater. Yeah, that's stormwater. It's not sewer.
Where's the stormwater line?
It must dump into that ditch.
No, it's saying it flows into or towards that area.
Yeah, I see the flow.
Well, that was going that way, so it's like, huh.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
can
must
see it going
flow-
the other way.
Yeah,
I can see it going the other way. I can't see it going into the street, but whatever. Well, it's mosquito control, whatever. They're gonna do what they're gonna do.
given the,
I think that they're gonna take.
And if they're gonna spread it out over those people's yard,
I think they're gonna put it in a truck and take it outside.
is that what you're telling them that you'd like to provide for input?
It's my input. You
Put it
need
in
to
your
take
truck.
that and put it in a truck.
put it in your truck, get it out of here.
Yeah, well, because we'll say where it can be spread.
Probably like ground up asphalt and like.
That's a good point.
fields.
Okay, well, we can make a note to respond to, what's her name?
What's your name?
Because we're dealing with her with the pond.
Caroline.
Carolyn Hammond, yeah, I
I
know,
didn't know this office still existed.
I
It's
met,
like a
I did meet her
Walmart.
before when we were talking about.
Oh, can you go
I
to
think why I
map?
wanted to do this,
Ariana?
just because I wasn't.
Can you go page
So I
two?
didn't know how
The-
familiar
the,
it's
the-
with it.
yeah.
So, just because it seems like they do still
Oh,
do a
never
good
mind.
amount of work, so just, being familiar with their office
mind.
and their operation, I think would be helpful, so in the future, there's not.
I thought
Because
this
I
was
was very
like
confused
done
about
after
what it was.
Eisenhower.
That's right.
That is.
When was this submitted? November 27th?
Yep,
They already started.
no, so we've been kind of going back and forth about it. because originally on the scope of the work, they said it was gonna be done anywhere from December 30th to June. And I had just started, so I was like, I don't know what this is, so I kind of replied and there's some back and forth.
Is that even a resource area? It sure doesn't look it.
I mean, it looks like there's some isolated wetland characteristics, but that would, I mean, it's not flowing into anything, so it's not Wetlands Protection Act related, so.
Probably doesn't even meet bylaw protection,
Well, isolated land subject to flooding does.
if it qualifies as.
If it's a depressed area, it may flood periodically. Who knows, off the road, who knows?
They're saying it supports mosquito formation. So that sounds like isolated land subject to
A spare tire on its side full of water will support mosquito life.
isolated.
Right.
Which is why we have so many darn tires sitting in
All right.
wetlands around town.
So what do we need to do? So we move on
Yes.
and get out of here.
It was just, if you had any specific questions after seeing this, let me know and I can ask her, but it was
Okay.
mostly just to let you know,
Okay.
this is going on.
Disposing of the stuff offsite would be
Mosquito
preferable.
control
I think it's the only thing
district
we've
is still
gotten
doing
out of
work
this right
here.
now.
It disappeared during Eisenhower, and that was kind of it.
Their exemption only stands as long as they do not discharge into the wetland, so I think they're a little confused with that.
Okay.
They think they're just plainly exempt, but they can't discharge into the wetland.
Mhm.
If there's a well in there.
They think they're exempt from everything.
Yeah.
I didn't even think they were still in active office. So
No, they are. Okay,
They're not, maybe
so
it's
other than that
correct.
comment from Marianne, does anybody else have any other input they'd like to have here to provide to them?
Let's take
Mm-mm.
South Main Street.
Yeah.
And that was just something very spur of the moment that I got an email about and Mike got an email about. That was, I brought the file folder because I didn't even know what it was, but it was one of the abutters that was
Yeah.
concerned. that-
Bernadette Bernelli, who's been in a number of meetings here when 1052, this is the Wagner Pond
Oh,
drain line, the DPW was proposing putting in an
Yep.
18 inch to replace the 8 inch.
Yep.
And we wanted to get, right, so anyway, she's just in a butter who wants to know what's happening, should I come to the meeting tonight or not? If she had heard, and I couldn't find it, and so I was told Hannah that we had postponed it to this night's meeting, and she didn't see it on the agenda, so she didn't know what was going on, so she just sent me an email this morning, I said, let me check. I looked into it, and Hannah said, well, they're not on the agenda for whatever reason, they got passed over, or we probably just put it as a placeholder, because we knew we weren't gonna do anything with the drought and everything. So I told Bernadette that, and I said, stay home, watch it on cable 8, I checked with Hannah. What's that?
I do remember that.
So if it was put on the agenda for today's date, whether it got left over or not, I said, at the very least, what we should do is just continue it to, because it is an open thing that we were gonna revisit or we decided we would revisit when drought went away, or we
there's
had,
no filing for it yet, right?
no.
They have it in NOI.
Yeah,
Yes,
we have-
actually,
they have an NOI. I didn't have a chance to look through all of our old agendas to see when it got continued to, because it just got brought up this morning and
It was.
I was kind of
continued,
running all
we should
day,
have it
We can
so.
track that down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I-
There's an
Like,
active
I don't even know what
and
this
why,
is,
because
so.
we need to have it either continued or withdrawn.
right, well,
So I'll give you the breakdown.
it will come back in the spring if we get water.
Project, so basically we had like.
It's gonna
Spanish
Come back with a
City,
vengeance.
You know, if you're this unknown pipe, you know, DPW saying, "Yeah, this is where we have 3 different streets falling like this, probably lived on way. I could just spend ignorance and say, I don't know, the pipe goes, but that's all right.
DPW.
Okay, I've seen half a yard flooded with water, so if I was that person living there, I would be,
Oh, yeah,
all over it, too. Anyway, I think we continue. So we're looking for a motion to continue the NOI for 1052 South Main Street to pick a date down.
The second one of February.
Second,
We should at
which
least
is the,
talk-
Second meeting in June,
yeah,
2027.
2027.
I think you can continue beyond that. Is there a regulation for how long we can?
February is February 26th.
We have to continue it to, and the time we're gonna get another 7-inch storm.
Yeah, okay, well, let's see, between now and February 27th, maybe we'll get some more rain or something, who knows? So February 27th meeting,
26th.
26th meeting.
Yep.
Will the applicant even know?
Town's the applicant, we have to tell Jesse.
It
I
might
thought
be,
Mr. Wenger was the applicant.
yeah, let's double check that.
It's under his name.
It's Chris Syriac, so town Bellingham.
Okay, so let's just notify him then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't have to come in, but
So we're going to 226 for 1052 South Main Street, second, we've got Arian first, James second. Any other discussion? No, good, thank you. All right, all in favor, Arian, Pam, you still there?
Aye.
Don,
Aye.
James,
I
Neil,
No.
one no, and Mike, aye. Neil's being persnickety, he's getting tired, give him a Snickers bar, quick, just like the commercial. Okay,
Yeah.
was there something else I asked you to remind me to, or did we cover that with mosquito and?
I think that's all we had talked about.
Mosquito and Wagner, yeah, I think it was pretty much everything. Anybody else have any other new business or anything else they need to announce or officially?
I just have a question that doesn't have to be answered right now. Hannah, did we put a start on 45 Ruth Allen? Like, did we say this has to be started by a certain period of time?
You worried about them never starting it or just?
Never started.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'll look into that.
Okay.
I'll check that out.
They'll never be able to sell the house.
Right, I'm thinking it might be a case where they ride out the 3 years and then just.
They'll still never be able to sell the house.
Enforcement order advice, so that stays forever, yeah.
Well,
Indeed.
I thought the NOI
It's an,
got
but-
rid of.
well, the order of conditions will just continue to be on it until, if they go to sell it, it's still gonna be an order.
The
of
deed's
conditions.
encumbered.
No, I understand. So I mean, some people would just buy the house regardless. If
Yeah, that's true,
if they
exactly.
want the property. I was curious if we had done that, because.
Mortgage company won't close on it.
At that point, we had been waiting however many months, just going back and forth on,
Right, we wanted to wait till October when you get some die off and so forth, and we did do that, and we then, but, yeah, and you know what? So that's true for most of these notice of intents and or conditions, we don't usually put a start date on any, really, I don't think of them.
well, this NOI was specifically for essentially to stop erosion.
Right, and
Most people are.
the difference is most people
are
want to see
chomping
the
at the
end,
bit.
yeah, they
Most
want to
people
get
are
it done.
chomping at the bit
They
to
want to do
go.
order conditions because it gets then the
Some-
project done.
Sometimes they get bad with paperwork and they forget to get a CC, but
It's on my walking route and I haven't seen any movement, so.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can definitely look into that.
Cover that
because I
when
don't
we
know
go
off
at
the
this
top
point.
of my head.
Year two.
No, I was just curious, there was the pergola, whatever it is too,
Yeah,
was potentially supposed to be moved. There was nothing, I didn't see any.
I think that was going forward in cases kind of like that. That would be a reason to keep it as an enforcement order,
right.
Yeah.
just because then it.
Also, like, I think we just ended up issuing because he wouldn't stop. Not the applicant, but the applicant's representative.
Molino,
Yeah, but you know.
Former SCP guy.
Yeah.
I'll look into that. and
Yeah, I don't think we did, but I was thinking about it today when I was walking. I don't remember if we
That's a good thought.
said they needed to start by some point.
Yeah.
They probably won't be able to do anything until the spring, when everything thaws out, but they haven't done any.
Yeah, good point, thanks. Yes,
I have two things.
two things.
One,
One, I know I've mentioned this a couple of times, but can you look into the paperwork on the mulch pile?
oh, yeah,
Oh, watch file.
Yeah, south on
169.
on Maple Street.
South Maple Street.
What was that?
169 Maple Street. And 160, I think it's 161/169.
you drive by, you won't miss it.
I definitely know what you're talking about,
Yes.
but.
So we had an order to the mulch pile to do certain things and to maintain certain things. And I feel like things have not been done and things that were agreed to be, there was supposed to be a buffer of logs around the active work
Which we
site,
have partially, but it's not completely.
leaving a path around the outside. It was to prevent encroachment of the bark mulch and equipment right up against the fence and because the fence is right on the edge of the resource area. It was designed to give a little bit of a buffer.
And for the fire department to have access to
Yes.
not have to wait, go through
Correct.
piles.
So the fire, right.
I heard
And
about that.
they have moved the logs and are using the full area in places that I don't think, and they were
I've
supposed to
been
put in
tempted to
storm.
drive through the backside just to see how close they are there. And I said, maybe I should get out and walk around so I don't have to go get confronted by somebody with a backhoe. And they did say that, somebody said recently they haven't gotten anybody buried in the piles recently, which is good. I think that came up at a planning board meeting. I think this is back before the planning board last I heard.
Apparently the address for the
Right.
lot doesn't have a number.
Oh, but I know it's one,
Dover Foxcrot
I,
and LMP Properties, and it's map 26 lot 1A.
if you look at 161, 169 Maple Street, I'm
So if you could
95%
look,
sure that's
if you
the.
could dig up that paperwork just to see where we stand with them and if they are in compliance with what we permitted.
The conditions, yeah, that we,
Yep.
Yeah, we permitted it with conditions. Let's see if they're living up to those conditions, please. And the other one
Yep.
is an encroachment into the wetland by the Bellingham Bible Baptist Church
oh, down the hill from behind
on
the,
Hartford Ave.
oh, wait a minute.
They have,
Gotcha.
they have taken their paved parking area, which is small,
Yeah.
and they have,
Yeah,
yeah, across the
Right.
street, they have. But the church is there, then there's a house, might be, the church might be the parsonage. And then there's a parking lot next to it, small, but they have leveled around the edge of the parking lot, not paved it, but covered it with bark mulch, and the bark mulch is down the slope, encroaching into the BBW. So,
and the stream that flows through there is part of Charles, right?
yes. So they are definitely, and during a Sunday service, there are cars parked on the edge of that bark mulch.
Is that right there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so this has been like this for a while.
Has it?
Yeah.
Well, it's freshly bark mulch. They've
Looks
refreshed,
like they redid
they have refreshed the bark mulch. You know,
Yeah, they did that parking lot a while ago, I think. I live kitty
365.
corner from them.
365 Hartford Ave.
You live kitty corner to them?
They did it recently enough because in 20.
Pam, did you say you live kitty corner to them?
Yeah, I'm at 374.
Yeah, 2023 Street View shows it being treed,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
they cleared between the pavement and the wetlands, so they've been doing work.
That's like 20, 30 feet.
They have been doing work
Yeah,
in the buffer zone without a permit.
that type of stuff, is that stuff that, do we have to bring that in an open meeting, or can you guys just, send, if you see something, send me a message?
Oh,
and
we
let
can
me know
send,
it's
oh, yeah,
just-
oh, yeah.
Okay.
No,
Because
that
then
doesn't
we
have
can
to be
just
brought
reach
up here.
out and then go away,
I
too.
just bring it up here so we can
Chat about it.
chat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
You think there's new enforcement on that? That's huge.
Gotcha.
That's like.
Well, I think that's what we need to, I think we need to do some investigation, because that may in fact be an enforcement.
They would have had to grade.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
It's level, they park on.
Okay, yeah, so that level.
They
that may
have
be
pickup
just
trucks.
Enforcement.
They have pickup trucks.
You just need to
Yeah,
issue.
The bark mulch is as wide as a full-size pickup truck is long.
okay. Yeah,
We need to issue.
If they park people around there, and I came by there Sunday morning, that's what reminded me, because they park people all on the bark mulch and then they fill up I mean, it's great,
Yeah.
they've got it's
Yeah.
great, they,
Do you see how wide it is from aerial view?
so
That looks
something like
that
that,
looks like they clear cut.
I could like put
couple
together
thousand square
that,
feet.
send them a notice and say, hey, we're gonna send you an enforcement order.
No, just send it.
You guys have to sign.
We have to
an order, right?
create and sign a.
Yeah.
So that I can just send them, I can send them a notice of violation, which has no, legal standing, but notices them that, hey, this is happening, get ready, like, to come. in.
You can send them a cease and desist via email.
Right, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Notice of violation.
Just a
cease and
notification
desist,
that, hey,
those are-
we're.
Those are two like
Yeah.
legally like same thing for,
Well, if you feel comfortable coming up,
Yeah.
do we have a notice of violation? That you, okay, and then I would say that they need to be told to come in to a meeting.
yeah,
And then at that point in time, we can vote to issue an enforcement order right then and there. So I hate to say the 12th, but
Oh, this
If-
is.
if they-
this is worth the 12.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
and the Dover Amendment does not apply to. That's where local bylaws, zoning bylaws can apply to religious institutions.
Also, I did remember the two things that we did talk about that you wanted to bring up, that were just little things.
Yeah.
They're like more fun stuff, so
Oh, fun.
you were wondering about if people wanted printed copies of the bylaws. And if anybody had interest in the MACC
Right.
meeting that's coming up.
So, yeah, Hannah's gonna send out, if you all have gotten invitations from MACC, yes or no, for the upcoming annual meeting at Holy Cross, which is,
Maybe.
I think. it's a
Yeah, I
hybrid.
I think so.
Okay,
There for work.
I wanted to make sure, especially
You got a booth?
Pam and Don, Don, did you do
Yeah.
anything last year? You were on, commission last year.
Yeah,
It was
I,
virtual last year.
I was virtual last year.
Yeah, I think I was too. So I want to make sure the commission members know whether it's virtual, if it's a hybrid model and it's virtual this year, you can certainly do a virtual, but if you want to attend, either case, any of the fees are paid for by the commission,
Yeah.
given the late date
Mm.
or how close we are to this happening. I think it's what's March,
It's usually spring and fall.
March something, late March, I think. we may not have time to have, as Ann Matthews used to do, cut a check and pay the MACC people for everybody that signed up with her. You may just need to pay the fee and get reimbursed. But in any event, don't let this stop you because you will get reimbursed. There's money in the budget for this every year.
And Don and Pam, it's a great thing. I think you should both go. A
Yeah,
lot of fun.
and
You'll learn a
Hannah,
lot,
certainly
too.
you too.
Yeah.
Qualify for it.
And
So,
so reach out to MIC, if it would be easier for you guys too, what we did with, because Pam's gonna take some classes too. I
right.
reached out to MACC and they just billed us for that.
Well, if they'll do that
So
now,
I'll
I don't,
ask
it may have
them.
changed over the years, probably sure. So yes, and I will mention too, you may have received, I hope you guys did, because I did as chair, a notice, urgent notice from MACC about a legislative thing that's going for the state senate, I think. And there was this template
Yeah.
letter there. I responded
Yep.
today. It was quick and easy. Clicked a few things, put my name at the bottom and put the town of Bellingham conservation, that I live in the town of Bellingham. It's sent as a resident, but she sent it out to MACC people. It's for open space and some legislative stuff. So if you saw that, the deadline for that is tomorrow by 5, I think. So
Yeah, I did it last night as soon as I got it,
yeah, if you
actually.
have a chance to do it, I think.
Yeah, I did it
appreciate
too.
for it.
Yeah, it was
Okay,
very
cool.
easy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and so the bylaws, I know we've been referring to the bylaws a lot, and it seems like sometimes the applicants reps know the bylaws better than we do. And while we can scramble and look from online, if you'd like to have a paper copy to carry around or have at home, I've asked.
I do.
I
know
definitely
I
would like
want
that,
one.
yeah.
Okay, Ariane, you want a copy, hard copy, or you do, okay. Neil?
Yeah, I would love a
James?
hard copy.
Okay,
Of the
James?
bylaw, that would be great.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so we'll do 6 of them, or 7, and keep a copy for yourself, and if Amy wants a current copy, give her one. Hey, Bob wants a copy.
Not as thin as I thought.
Make a couple dozen, yeah, give out to the selectmen. Yeah, that'd be joyful reasons.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so yeah, so we'll get some copies printed up and get them out to guys, maybe next meeting, we just bring them a copy, whatever. That'll be helpful. Okay. I'm done. Anything else? Anybody else?
I just
All
had one
favor?
quick question. Maybe this
Yeah.
is a silly question. Is there a list of all of the properties that the Conservation Commission owns?
Yes. You can't have it, sorry. I know you're gonna buy all the properties, and then we'll have nothing to do. Just kidding. Yes, there is something, you
I'm not sure, honestly.
Oh,
I
yeah.
haven't done too much on open space, so I don't know where that's located.
Do you have that list? You could send, okay, Ariane has it. She'll send it along to anybody else want a copy of it? Send it, just let me know.
Yeah, I did that, the hunting.
Yeah, there is a list,
Map
Cam,
thing.
and it shows, small, big, medium-sized lots where.
Oh, neat.
The near address is to them or the plot lump, I forget. Anyway, Ariane has it. I know I have buried somewhere in my files, but if Ariane can send it along to people, that'd be great. Just for the reference.
Alrighty, that's all.
Okay, cool. Thanks for asking. I thought you're volunteering to walk them all and do a little site inspection. We'll get the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts or retired people who may think, anyway, to do it, maybe as a project.
Beers?
Bears?
Well, I've done a lot of it. I've done
Yeah.
probably a third of it.
Yeah, Don's doing walking a lot.
I bet my
Okay.
dog would enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. Here we those kids. Okay, there's no other business. I'm trying to close this meeting up so you can get home and back to your business. I'll accept a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
And thank you, Pam. And who would be like to second that? Oh, it's Pam. Yeah, we.
2 seconds.
Ariane. Okay, thank you. All in favor, Don,
I
Pam,
Aye.
Ariane,
I
Neil. James, Mike, unanimous vote. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a
Alright,
nice
good night,
stay warm.
everyone. I
Thanks
hope
for
I
Thank
see
you,
you next
everyone.
time. Bye.
Stay out.
take care.